Game number 2 coming up tomorrow, so a lot of that you'll hear today. Josh Briscoe from the Chiefs Radio Network joins us in the next hour as we get you primed for the Chiefs and Buccaneers tomorrow. Our text line, as always, Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. I know you know the number, 913-586-7965. Good afternoon, Rob Britton. Good to see you, my friend. Are you as proper as Fernando Mendoza? You heard him last night, right? He called Joe Buck Mr. Buck. Have you ever heard Joe Buck called Mr. Buck?
That was a new one for me. Tell Mr. Buck I say hello was a new one.
What's it? I mean, do you think that's real when he does that? I mean, do you think it's real when he does that? I'm just always curious. He's always so nice. He's always been this way. That's the way Cal was that way at Indiana. But, tell Mr. Buck hi. And Troy, he's a legend. So I hope it stays with him, but I just don't know, man. He's going to be a Raider. He's going to be warped at some point, but there's no way in hell he stays this nice throughout his NFL career. But props to him now for staying nice at this point. Are you watching the game tomorrow night, Rob? Do you have big plans? Do you have big party plans?
I don't have big plans for the preseason game, no. I will be watching.
Thank you.
Or at least I'll watch the beginning of the game, and then I don't need to see the practice squad guys who aren't going to do anything. But yes, I will be watching tomorrow night's game. No big plans. I think big plans for a preseason road game are kind of goofy behavior to me, but that's just me.
Unless you just want an excuse to drink beer and grill out with your friends, then it's not a problem. Did you see the ratings for the Rams-Chiefs game?
I saw they were good.
It was very good. It was the highest preseason game because all these are local markets, keep in mind. It's all run locally. It's not like it's national, except last night's Raiders-Houston Texans game was on ESPN because that was their Monday night crew, but it was Thursday night. It was the best in a decade. Like, it was the highest ratings in a decade. So are people that much in still on the Chiefs, or was that the Rams, chiming in as well as getting the Los Angeles market? Regardless, that Chiefs-Rams game was the highest in a decade for that preseason. So props to Chiefs production, man. What a hell of a job they're doing. And they have their franchise on tonight. But anyway, I saw those ratings, and I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. It's like 2.5 million or something, which pales in comparison to what regular NFL season games are. But there's a huge interest in the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think a lot of that was in Mahomes didn't even play. So if Mahomes played and Kelsey played and all this, you can understand the ratings being good. But I digress. People want to see Chiefs preseason football. I'll ask you guys on the text line, 913-586-7965, the text line, will you be watching this game tomorrow? Or are you ready to turn the page and get ready for the regular season on the 14th? You ready for the Denver Broncos? Or is this your game? Because I think there's value in Game 2 in the preseason. Now, Game 3, those will be into the roster fillers. I'm sure Dave Tobe will be really interested in Game 3, who's going to be on a special teams unit and who won't be. But Game 3 is typically replaced Game 4 of the preseason, but Game 2 is kind of like, all right, here's the starters. Tampa Bay plans on playing their starters. You'll get to see an offensive line that doesn't have Josh Simmons, doesn't have Trey Smith, and you'll see Reuben Bain. A lot of people wanted Reuben Bain with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a nice fit with the Buccaneers for him, so we'll see what he's going to do, but he will give fits to the tackle situations for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's hope everything works out. We'll talk about that as well. The text line, funny, Rob, this is funny, and I corrected this. 781 says, do you still hate Cyrus Binkley? And I went on with Fesco and Bob earlier this week to dispel that because I texted him. I was like, what are you guys talking about? What is the text line talking about? I said, I remember draft night. First of all, I'm not really opinionated like I was Josh Simmons as the first-round pick on fifth-round picks. Kind of goes by the wayside. Okay, I may have said something when I wish they wouldn't have waited till round 5 to get a receiver because that still holds true. That Cyrus Allen needed to work out. Also, Cyrus Allen didn't go to the NFL Combine, so there was a lot of, he's kind of self-made. I'll give him that. Did a great job at the All-American Bowl, got an invite to the Senior Bowl, did good enough to be drafted. I like what I've seen. I've been nothing but positive on Cyrus Allen. So, for some reason, the text line has that out there that I didn't like that pick, and that's totally false, Rob, because it's a 5th-round pick. I made a comment, and they played the comment from the draft show that night. And it was, well, who cares about the grade? This will affect the Chiefs' grade for the draft because you get a 5th-round receiver. But again, he didn't go to the Combine, so I don't care about draft grades. Never have. And I love the NFL draft. You know that. We do the podcast each and every week, and we're currently doing it now for the 2027 NFL Draft. We just wrapped up wide receivers preview last week. It'll be tight ends this coming up week with Chris Unocero there. So, yeah, not a ton on Cyrus Allen. Again, a fifth-round pick. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. And, Jalen Wells was a fourth-round pick last year, and he couldn't get on the field. He couldn't sniff the field with Rashee Rice out for 6 games and Xavier Worthy getting hurt and play 3 in Brazil and out for 3 games. He couldn't come. That's not going to be the case with Cyrus Allen. Cyrus Allen's got the talent to be straight out there. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. Text line likes Jalen Daniels. I forgot about that, Rob. Your KU guy, Jalen Daniels, gets some run in his Tampa game. He actually looked halfway decent in the first preseason game for the Buccaneers. We'll see what Jalen will do in that game, so KU fans can enjoy that. But I was seeing Jesse Newell wrote an article in The Athletic, and just 6 things that he saw from Chiefs training camp. What we learned is what he said, what we learned from Chiefs training camp. And some of this is actually really good. Patrick Mahomes looks like himself. I think that was kind of the big question. I think people in Kansas City, outside of Kansas City, people had their questions. National media had their questions. Is he going to be ready game 1? And the answer has always been yes. The answer was yes when the ESPN decided to put Chiefs on Monday Night Football at home against Bo Nix. 9 straight division titles crashed by the Denver Broncos last year. They made their decision. So when the Chiefs were on Monday Night Football in May, yeah, ESPN had a really good idea Mahomes is playing game 1. Point 2, Travis Kelce made the decision right away to come back. He's coming back to play with Patrick Mahomes. He's not coming back to play with Justin Fields. He's not coming back to play with the backup. He's coming back to play with Patrick Mahomes. Those were the tea leaves that are on the wall for everybody to see right in the beginning. But, yes, he looked great in training camp. The good news is he's taking all the reps. He even took the brace off before the last preseason game to kind of show out. But, yes, he will be ready in game 1. But he did look like himself. He's got that renewed energy with Kenneth Walker there in the backfield. And I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. But that was obviously the biggest question. How soon will Mahomes go down? Because I remember how deflating it was when he was injured. Because when he went down, I mean, there was so much, man. Oh, man. How long is this going to take Patrick Mahomes to come back? And then there was the people right away that said, well, it's Patrick Mahomes. Don't count him out. Dislocated his knee in Denver, and he's ready to go a couple games later. It's what he does. It's how he's wired. He has surgery the next day. If there was any doubt that guy wasn't getting on the field, he's just different. He's Michael Jordan. He's these guys that want to get on the field and play every day. He's Cal Ripken, who with that consecutive game streak. Now, clearly the NFL's different. He has had to miss games, so he didn't have the Cal Ripken streak intact there. But it's that mentality to play every single day. Some guys have it, some guys don't. Cal had it. Matt Olson with the Braves, the current longest streak in baseball. He's got it. But you see so many injuries derailing players, whether it's the Royals, the Chiefs have some as well. There's just some guys, you got to pull them off the field. Some guys you have to. Peyton Manning was that way, and you just knew that his brother, his dad was going to have to get involved. But regardless, that is probably storyline A number 1, that Mahomes looked just like Patrick Mahomes in training camp, so that was good to see. The number 2 thing he noticed with Kenneth Walker, or Ken Walker, whatever you want to call him, I think he prefers Ken Walker, is going to have a different role. And yeah, Ken Walker, believe it or not, Rob, I saw a list of who's going to make the Pro Bowl for the first time for different NFL teams. And the Chiefs selection, this is like on NFL.com, and the Chiefs selection was Kenneth Walker because he never made the Pro Bowl. And they said, oh, he's going to make the Pro Bowl this year. Yeah, that's right. Kenneth Walker has never made the Pro Bowl. Justin Fields actually has more yards rushing in a season than Ken Walker ever has. However, Ken Walker, the way he plays, the style, the breaking tackles, the things, the explosive plays, the things the Chiefs couldn't do last year, it's going to be much different. And he himself, this is going to be somebody in tandem with Patrick Mahomes. This is one guy that can change the offense a bit. Give Mahomes that relief. So he didn't have to run for 422 yards like he did last year. Can hand the ball off to Kenneth Walker, D. Mercado, Emmett Johnson, you name it. I even think the practice squad is going to be loaded with guys like Jaden Knott and A.J. Smith on it. So they're loaded at the running back position. But Ken Walker will keep the safeties honest. 2 high shells, the different safety looks that Mahomes has seen through the years. You can do that crap if you're facing Isaiah Pacheco. Like, you can do your safeties however you want. You can clown it up. You can make it look like crap because the running game the Chiefs had, it was a threat to nobody. Well, now they have a running game. Now it's a different team. A different team is walking out that tunnel, a team that can run the football, a team that's going under center more. So it is much different, and it will keep the safeties honest how they're playing. Now, there's going to be games this year you'll notice that, Mahomes, 200 yards, 225 yards. Oh, but look, Kenneth Walker has 150, 160. Well, Kenneth Walker, they're shutting down what Patrick can do down the field, but then Kenneth Walker's taking advantage of that and running free. And I always thought a running game behind the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes should be one of the best running games in the NFL because you have a quarterback that keeps the defense honest. You have a quarterback that keeps the defense playing deep. That's the way it was. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should remain with Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback, keeping that defense honest. But now they have a running game to do it. Then there's games where the safeties maybe creep up. They slow Kenneth Walker down because they're not respecting the this is where the wide receivers come into play. They don't respect the Chiefs' passing game, and so they creep up to stop Kenneth Walker. Well, then Mahomes would explode for 350, 360, you name it. They are going to play off each other, and I can't wait to see it. The third thing they see, this offense will look different. It kind of falls into what I said there with Ken Walker playing with Patrick Mahomes. And we'll talk about number 4, which is the Chiefs have a depth concern with the offensive line, but plenty of offensive line talk coming up next. But the one thing that stood out has been the rookie play. And he said this has been the big thing that stood out for the Kansas City Chiefs. Even Andy Reid mentioned this at training camp as far as the rookies really standing out. And keep in mind, he doesn't like to give praise to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you could take that rookie class and look at them. I mean, they all, I thought, had their day. And they've added some consistency to their game. We always talk about stacking days and improving every day and find one thing you can work on to get better at, all those things. I thought they handled that and tried to do that. So, but I mean, you can take that whole class there and I'd give them a thumbs up on how they went about their business.
And we'll get to that later because I do think the heavy drafting on defense was phase 1. I don't think the Chiefs are completed yet. I think they've got multiple phases of how they're trying to build this team back up. And that involves the offense and skill positions in the next draft. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the resources. They spent the resources on fixing a defense that was top 10 in the NFL last year. The Chiefs were 6th. They were the highest ranked defense in scoring defense that didn't make the playoffs. They were 6th in the NFL in scoring defense. So the bar's been set. Yes, they've lost people. McDuffie's gone. They've lost people. Guys have gotten older. But still, the Chiefs' offense was really the biggest problem they had last year. And third down defense was atrocious. Fourth down defense, they were actually number 1. But they've set the bar because they were a top 10 defense last year. They were 6th in the most important category, which is scoring defense. So now the bar has been set because if you're 10th in scoring defense, you've regressed. Now, if you go up to 3rd or 4th, something manageable like that, you progressed a little bit, and that's good. But the Chiefs set the bar for their defense last year. I've always thought this offense has been the main problem, and I can't wait for them to get back to the explosive, keep you up at night defense. Read that quote yesterday that Andy Reid had talked to the writers about before the season, that there was one anonymous defensive coordinator that said that he's losing some of that Andy Reid would keep me up at night when we're playing the Chiefs. He lost some of that feeling. That's not a good quote that comes out. Well, get back to the high-flying Chiefs because the Chiefs used to keep you up late at night. What offense are they going to run? What's Mahomes going to do to you? This is the strength of the Chiefs. The strength is the best quarterback this franchise has ever had. There's a good chance this is the best quarterback this franchise will ever have. This quarterback has delivered 3 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowl appearances, 7 appearances in the AFC title game, where you didn't see an AFC title game since Super Bowl I. They weren't in one until 94. Then they played in Buffalo. You got 7 straight AFC title games to watch the Kansas City Chiefs, and 6 of those were at home. So that's the strength of the Chiefs. I think they go back to that next year in the draft, but the rookies have been very impressive for the Kansas City Chiefs. We think we'll see what they do, and this is a good litmus test for them against the Buccaneers tomorrow, game 2, because game 3, you'll still see some of them in that game. Not all of them, but you'll see some of them in that game. And then you have the hiatus. You have the cuts coming on August 30th, where they cut down. They used to do it in waves. Now it's just one big cut. and names start to trickle out the day before or whatever, so guys can catch on with another team or with the way the judges are going, go back to college if they're not drafted, which is another story in and of itself. But that's what, didn't they have till the 14th to play the first game against the Denver Broncos? Any of those really stand out to you, Rob? As far as the rookies, the offensive line depth, but we'll get to that offensive line depth. We're going to get to that next.
I'm going to say that those are probably the biggest storylines. I've never felt Mahomes' health was a storyline because I've always felt like he was going to play week one. I thought that was pushing that direction, but I understand why that was probably storyline number one from up at camp.
Yeah, of course, because it's Patrick Mahomes, and what's he going to be like at camp? Is he ready to roll? What's going on with him? So I definitely think that's storyline number one. He is the number one thing you're thinking about with the Kansas City Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes. But we'll see what happens in Tampa. I am looking forward to the game, and obviously you are too, because the ratings said you were interested in game one. I do expect game two to be very similar in the ratings for the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, preseason football doesn't matter. You're still watching. That's what's important. Coming up next, though, let's look at the offensive line health situation they had. Matt Verderame was home with Cody and Gold earlier. He gave his opinions on it, but we'll talk about this offensive line and Khalil Pinson. How much will he play tomorrow night?
You're listening to The Drive.
My man, Carrington Arrington.
On Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan.
For more than 6 decades, family-owned Ready Services has kept Kansas City comfortable. From expert plumbing to HVAC, they provide honest repairs, no high-pressure sales. Don't just get a quick fix. Get it done right the first time at ReadyServices.com. REDDI Services.com.
Welcome to Verizon Small Business Days as a business expert meets Patty of Patty's Diner. They're looking through Patty's tech and plans, and Patty scores great deals on business internet and One Talk, plus a free 5G phone. Score a meeting with a Verizon business expert August 17th to the 30th. Call 1-800-483-4428 or go to verizon.com/SMB days. Available for select 5G phones. New line device payment agreement and my bids plan with $5 a month add-on spending required. Applicable credit applied to account over agreement term up to 36 months. Terms apply. Offer ends 8/30/2026.
Hey, baseball fans. Think you know who's going to hit a homer today? Well, FanDuel's giving you a free chance to call your shot with Daily Dingers. Joining in on the action is easy. Just make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at even extra winnings. You've got nothing to lose, but you have a lot to gain. And you can make your free pick every day during the MLB season. It's just another way that FanDuel is your home for the home runs. Ready to play your game today? Join in on all the action at FanDuel.com/local. That's FanDuel.com/local to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com.
or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-210-4471 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-210-4471. That's 800-210-4471. What do you have to lose? Call 800-210-4471. Again, 800-210-4471.
Drink up, baby. Fantasy Football Happy Hour is here to get you wins and have some laughs. Matthew Berry here, and my podcast, Fantasy Football Happy Hour, has the sleepers, busts, and start-sit advice you need to win your league. We're diving into the tape, we're crunching the numbers to bring you sleepers, busts, weekly start-sit advice. Whether you're defending a title or desperately avoiding last place, I've got you covered every single weekday. The bar is open. It's Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back to the Drive. Jay Binkley, Rob Brenton, Luke Combs coming to Kansas City with his My Kind of Saturday Night Tour 2027. Catch Luke live at GHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium on Saturday, May 15th, 2027. Special guest, Treaty Oak Revival, Avery Anna, Shenandoah, and Wyatt McCubbin. It's going to be one of the biggest nights of country music at Arrowhead. For tickets and more information, head to lukecombs.com. You a concert guy, Rob?
I'll probably try to finesse my way into that one. I like some Luke Combs songs.
Yeah, there's plenty. Ice cold beer, man. That's one of my favorites, man.
I saw Kenny Chesney at Arrowhead, and he was a good time. So I might try to, work a little Chiefs magic and find myself in the stadium for that one. We'll see.
I think I saw that one. I think I did see Kenny Chesney. I think I was there a long time ago. It was a long time ago, though, wasn't it? Like
2013, 2014, something like that, yeah.
So I might have been there, too. That was definitely a long time ago. This text line is still going on about the Cyrus Allen thing. And I did not offer many opinions on a fifth-round pick. So I have plenty since then because you got to see how he does, see how he acclimates himself to this team. But, yes, he's going to be an important cog for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. But the offensive line tomorrow will be something to watch because, as I mentioned, phase 1 and phase 2, and we'll get into those phases a little bit more later, but the phase 1, what they did this year, working on the defense, bringing in a defensive back, in Mansour Delane, getting him pick 6, then getting Peter Woods also in the first round, bringing in Armason Thomas, working on Jaden Kennedy, love that guy, bringing in that to help the defense. And then phase 2, I think, happens next year with the draft in D.C., when they'll be looking at skill positions. Then they'll have to replace Travis Kelce. Kind of been neglecting that. I know Wiley's coming here and you got Noah Gray and stuff like that, but I'm talking really replace Travis Kelce in the way and the production that the tight end does for the Chiefs. We've been blessed in this city to have 2 great tight ends and Tony Gonzalez right to Travis Kelce. Not saying you can get that lucky, not saying third time's a charm, boom, you get that guy in tight end, but tight ends have been very nice here in Kansas City for sure. But the phase 3 that you never want to see, and that's rebuild the offensive line again. Like, let's say Khalil Benson doesn't work, because right now that's a dream, because he's an undrafted free agent. You're hardly paying anything for your right tackle. Obviously, Jalen Moore came in with the tag. Jalen Moore's going to be a right tackle, and if Simmons can stay healthy, we'll see the battle he has at right tackle with Khalil Benson. But if he's out, then he slides over to left tackle like he's been doing, like he's going to be doing tomorrow night, being a left tackle, and then Khalil Benson at right. But you don't want to see him have to spend draft capital again on that offensive line, because Yes, Khalil Benson's a great story at right tackle, and we've talked about him, quite a bit at nights, going back through June because he was mentioned in the OTAs. He wasn't one of the guys they got on the phone with right after the draft. So, Khalil, can you be a Kansas City Chief? You know how they do that right after the draft? They get on the phones and start making calls to the guys that weren't drafted to come in as a UDFA signing. No, he was brought in a rookie minicamp to fight for a contract and just a camp body, a guy for the rookie minicamp to be. And he did good enough. He showed out. Andy Reid mentioned him in OTAs. Talked 33 seconds on the guy. He's like, all right, this guy may have something. Then the first day of camp, Jalen Moore's your right tackle. Then it was Khalil Benson, which that's for a reason. The fact that Jalen played, they had 18 practices up there. Jalen was starter for the first one, but the other 17 were Khalil Benson. And there's a reason for that. They're not going to waste the time and have a guy starting a right tackle if they don't find some kind of value and want to see what they really have in Khalil Benson, because they got to get ready for the season. They have to get ready for the Denver Broncos. Now, we've seen this before. Last year, Jalen Moore was brought in here, then they draft Simmons, and then all of a sudden, boom, OTAs, training camp. Simmons never looked back. He took left tackle and just never looked back. It was his job. So then Jalen Moore was out of the picture there. And they did the same thing with Trey Smith when he was drafted. Boom, inserted right there right away. He's your starting guard. Once they kind of make their decision, they keep it because you get the reps. You get the important camp reps. And not to take Khalil Benson seriously to be the right tackle, because, yeah, you would think in a perfect world it would be Jalen Moore. But it's been a lot of Khalil Benson. Then they tried to experiment moving him to guard, see what you have a guard, because he has done that. He played at Indiana when he first got there. Then he transferred to Colorado to play for Dion. Dion had him moving around the offensive line because that's what they do. He's playing some guards and tackle, had a chance to go back to Indiana, concentrate on the right tackle, so he did. He transferred back to Indiana. They, of course, won a national title last year. He started 12 of the 16 games, but was in a rotation at the right tackle. Matter of fact, didn't even start the national title game. He played in it, but he didn't start it. So, yeah, it's been a reach. But you know what? He's done a great job. And you like to say, okay, scouting department, that's great because they got Khalil Benson. Well, he had to fight for his job in the rookie minicamp. So I honestly think that Cyrus Allen might have been their greatest scouting because the guy didn't go to the combine. Khalil didn't either, but Cyrus didn't go to the combine, but was drafted. Much different. Caldwell, who's an undrafted free agent, did go to the combine and wasn't drafted. Cyrus didn't go to the combine, but was drafted because of what he did in the All-American Bowl and the Senior Bowl. But really, that's the scouting department, what they really worked on by getting Cyrus Allen in for the Kansas City Chiefs. So Matt Verderams on Sports Illustrated, he joined Cody and Gold earlier today to talk about this. The offensive line health, is there any concern over Josh Simmons with the back? And Trey Smith, what's going on there?
I've talked to people in the building who would certainly be in the know, and the Simmons is fine. Like literally the wording that I got. I mean, I think it's a little bit of a more cautious approach right now. I think if this was during the season, would be a non-issue. It's more, hey, look, it's the middle of August. There's no reason to push it. But I don't sense any real concern. And then with Smith, if it goes through next week and he's not practicing, I'd have some concern. I know he went to see a specialist. They genuinely, at this point, are not concerned. But, a hip can be a little bit of a tricky thing. He's a big body. I mean, we're not talking about some guy who's 180 pounds. He is obviously, he's 315, whatever he is. So it's at this juncture, there's no real concern. But, listen, we get toward the last few days of August and one or both are not there. Then you have to say, okay, well, is there maybe a need for a reevaluation? But right now, I don't think there's any real sense of concern in the building.
Yeah, my concern level is low on both Simmons and Trey Smith. But kind of like Matt said there, the longer this goes into the season, obviously game 3, you're not expecting any of them to play in that one. But if all of a sudden you show up on the injury report right before the Denver Broncos game that week, then all of a sudden the concern grows because you don't want to let it linger. I mean, this is the way it works with tackles sometimes. Sometimes it takes a lot longer. Willie Rofe is one of those guys that could barely walk. Then all of a sudden he would play. But during the week, it was a struggle. But as soon as the game showed up, he was there and ready to play. So, yes, I will be interested in seeing Khalil Benson more than 6 snaps that he got in preseason game 1. I am glad he's going to be at right tackle. Are you to the point, because I know some are, that they think Jalen Moore is still going to be the starting right tackle? I don't know, Rob. I mean, the Chiefs aren't really a team to jack around with the guys, playing right tackle to switch him. I mean, could he be switched back to Jalen Moore? Absolutely. But they're not the kind of team that jacks around with starting positions. So I don't know. You would like to think that's, well, I don't know. I mean, Jalen Moore was going to be the guy. What do you think, Rob? Where do you sit on this? Do you think Khalil Benson wins the job, or do you think Jalen Moore is your starting right tackle for the Broncos game?
I think Jalen Moore is starting right tackle for the Broncos game. I think Khalil Benson, they are treating him like the sixth man, for a basketball analogy. He's played some guard in camp. He's played some tackle in camp. He's done a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I think it's clear they think Khalil Benson has a future in Kansas City, but I don't think the future is now. And you mentioned they don't usually, mess around with this. Once they commit to a rookie, they commit to a rookie in the offensive line. They did not feel that way about Kingsley Suamataia. They committed to him initially, and he stunk, and they immediately benched him. But out of camp, remember, Kingsley's a guy, the guy.
But through camp, it was him.
Yeah, and then 2 games in, they were like, uh-oh, we have a big problem. So I think because of that, they will probably slow play Benson. Do I think Benson could ascend to the job in week 7, 8, 9, 10? Perhaps. But I think when Nick Bonito and co are on the edge, I think you will see Jalen Moore at right tackle.
Well, it's been interesting because I remember day one, Jalen Moore was your right tackle, and everybody was, it's not a competition anymore. Jalen Moore is your right tackle. Then boom, 17 of the 18 practices has been Khalil Benson. I just see the Chiefs as a team that you want to get important reps in chemistry with that offensive line. I do think there's a good chance that he plays earlier than 7 or 8 weeks if he's not the starter in game 1. This could be a Kingsley-type situation where a couple games in, you make the switch to that if he doesn't get opening day start, which still is in question, Jalen Moore. And I know they really like Jalen Moore because he can go to the right side. They can put him over to the left side. He's kind of been that swing tackle the Chiefs have. But there's not a huge body of work on him with the Kansas City Chiefs because he just played last year with them. Now, he has, a track record back in San Francisco, and he was behind Trent Williams. So there's that track record there, and he has, of course, been in the league a long time, considering the short amount of time that Khalil Benson has been in the league. But they really like Khalil, and they liked him from the start. They liked him rookie minicamp enough to give him a contract, and boom, he's been the starter for this team. I think he really pushes Jalen Moore. If Jalen Moore gets to start, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But again, the Chiefs aren't really one of those teams. With a 30-year-old quarterback coming off an ACL, you bring in the high-priced running back in Ken Walker, and all of a sudden, 17 of the 18 practices, you have an undrafted free agent rookie running with the ones. Like that doesn't add up, for a team with this pedigree to be playing that guy that much. Now, if you want to run him with the twos, you want to get him his reps, and then fight for the number one job, that's fine. But he's been given through camp that number one job. But if Jalen Moore is still a guy, Jalen Moore is still a guy. Obviously, I like Jalen Moore. Didn't live up kind of to the expectations you kind of have for him last year, but I thought he was fine in what he did for the Chiefs. But that's the worst situation because this team already spent time in capital on fixing the offensive line. Now, we saw what they did the first time they got rolled by the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. That was going out and getting Orlando Brown. They tried to get Trent Williams. That deal didn't work out, so they ended up making a trade with the Ravens to get Orlando Brown. People didn't like him, but the Chiefs were stuck. They needed a left tackle. Well, they got one that was serviceable for them for a couple of years. And so Orlando Brown, that's the situation they're in. This was a different type of deal. 2 years ago, you draft Kingsley Suamataia in the second round. A lot of people thought he could have been a first-rounder type guy. And coming out of BYU, you see the connection with Andy Reid. And clearly, quickly, they realized he's not your left tackle. He's more suited for guard. And I thought he did a good job at left guard last year. But again, that means you had to go back to the well. You had to go back in the first round and get Simmons. So instead of drafting another position that the Chiefs could have desperately needed, you had to go back to the offensive line because that was the situation you were in because Kingsley wasn't your left tackle of the future. That's why you really hope Josh Simmons is. That guy is so imperative for this team in working out to have your left tackle of the future so they don't, quote, have to go to phase 3 and draft a tackle in the first round because the first round, in my opinion, should be more or less wide receivers or tight end. You on my train now, Rob? You on the wide receiver train with the Chiefs for 27?
I mean, I want to see how 26 goes before I commit to anything. But, I mean, as we sit right now, I think wide receivers probably very high on the list.
Okay. We're there now. We're on the same train because I've been beating this drum for the last couple of years ad nauseum because I want to see Patrick Mahomes have weapons. But the Moore versus Benson battle will be interesting. I'm curious to see how this unfolds. Now, I will say that, Jalen Moore being the veteran, being the guy that's here, you would think, because I automatically thought he was going to be a right tackle to begin with, but I thought Khalil Benson was still going to make this team because they really liked him and valued what he did. Then you go to St. Joe, and all of a sudden, he's playing with the ones and really shining. Tried the guard experiment with him a little bit. It's a little bit rough at guard. Didn't play as well as tackle. Let's put it that way. He plays better at right tackle. I'm glad he's going to get the chance against Tampa to play that right tackle position. I think that's really one of the positions to really focus on next week. What's the pass blocking look like for Mahomes? Well, it's going to be Justin Fields, but just pretend like it's Patrick Mahomes. And what's it going to be like for the running game? What kind of wall is he going to build for Ken Walker to run behind? What's it going to be? Is it going to be where he has to run to the left because the right's not there and the holes aren't opening and Trey Smith is out and Khalil Benson's not getting the job done at right tackle? So there is some concerns with the running game. You don't want to become predictable. You want that strong offensive line across because right now you have the stalwarts and Creed Humphrey at center and Kingsley, I think, really solidified himself as the left guard for this team. And, it would be helpful to have Trey Smith back. So you have that triumvirate, that center, and the two guards that you really trust to move people around that we'll see. But the tackle position is something to watch. Because, Rob, do you want to be sitting here next draft period in evaluating offensive line play?
I mean, I didn't think we were going to be there last draft period. Remember, there was all those smoke signals and smoke screens and blah 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 that the Chiefs were going to go offensive line at 9 and all this stuff. I do think the Chiefs need to continue to add to the offensive line because they will probably need a right guard at some point because Trey Smith's contract will come off the books. But I just think they need to be constantly adding to that group. I will say this, Bink. I know we're up against the break. So the text line asked this question: if Khalil Benson was this good, how come he didn't get drafted? That's what sticks out to me. He was not a priority UDFA. He had 7 rounds and no one drafted him. Now
didn't even go to the combine.
Now he's a starter. Like that doesn't seem like something that usually happens for teams with Super Bowl aspirations. Like I don't think teams in August, who our right tackle is? The guy we signed in May. That's not usually the sign of a winning franchise.
Well, he tore his ACL early on. It had that. And he, like I said, he didn't start the national title game. But he did play. It was a rotation they used at Indiana at right tackle. He started 12 of the 16 games. It's a good question. And, so all that smoke that you heard about the Chiefs possibly looking at an offensive lineman, could have been a smoke screen, but there's some validity to it too. Because think about this. Think about if Khalil Benson didn't work out. Think about if Khalil Benson signed with another team, not the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember, they didn't draft him, so he could have gone anywhere. It's not like they threw a 7th-round pick on him instead of Garrett Nussmeier. Didn't do it. He could have gone anywhere he wanted to, anywhere he damn well pleased. But he came here. Where would the Chiefs be without him right now? Like if he does end up being a starter with the Kansas City Chiefs, they got him for value price because they got him as an undrafted free agent, and that's your right tackle. So do I think the Chiefs use the tackle or offensive lineman as a complete smokescreen? No, I really don't, because they have an undrafted free agent starting on the offensive line that they didn't call immediately as soon as the draft was over. So I do think there was some interest to get some health for this offensive line and some depth in particular. So not 100% buying it that they weren't in on offensive linemen, because I do think that they were cognizant of the offensive linemen coming out in the draft. We'll shift gears to the Royals for just a few minutes, because they have won 5 in a row. They have won 6 out of 7. So we'll talk about the Kansas City Royals next, and we'll switch back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Got Josh Briscoe and Nate Taylor coming up, as well as we get you primed for tomorrow night's game against the Buccaneers. But Royals and this hot streak, you buying it? Next.
Your home for all things Chiefs football and Royals baseball.
I'm a professional complainer.
Is The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win. Like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Whether you're commuting to work or heading out for a fast coffee break, getting an auto insurance quote is just a tap away. With AAA, you're always connected, so you can focus on the road ahead. Rest easy knowing AAA's got you covered, no matter where life takes you. AAA, we're always with you. To start your quote, visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Kansas City storms can leave behind roof damage you can't always see. Hail and high winds may have compromised your roof, even if everything looks fine from the ground. That's why Century Roofing offers a free roof inspection and handles the insurance process from start to finish. For over 36 years and more than 36,000 roofs installed, homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. Voted best roofing company in Johnson County for 5 years straight and best in Kansas City 2 years in a row. KC-based and female-owned. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Whether I'm setting up the ultimate tailgate or hosting a watch party, game day is all about the Chiefs and keeping it stress-free. That's why I go to Hy-Vee. They make planning a breeze with everything you need in one convenient stop. We're talking about tailgate trays packed with sliders, wings, charcuterie, sushi, appetizers, and those iconic Chiefs-themed cookies. Plus, a massive wine and spirits department to top off your beverage order. Let Hy-Vee handle the work. Just order online for pickup or delivery. It's a total game changer, only at Hy-Vee.
Back to school savings start now at Hy-Vee's 3-day sale. Stock up and save big this Friday through Sunday with hot deals in every department. Meat, produce, bread, cereal, and snacks. Want an easier way to shop? Order on the Hy-Vee app or at Hy-Vee.com. Choose pickup or delivery and we'll do the shopping for you. Save time, save money. Shop your way during the back to school sale this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
A cancer diagnosis is overwhelming. Choosing the right treatment shouldn't be. If you've been diagnosed with breast, head and neck, or prostate cancer, before you decide, you have options. At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care. Proton therapy offers increased precision, protecting healthy tissue as compared to standard radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
It's 5 o'clock. Your employees are headed home, but you're still updating spreadsheets, switching between software, and wondering where the day went. There's a better way. Odoo brings accounting, sales, inventory, CRM, and more together in one fully integrated platform. So you spend less time managing software and more time running your business, because your workday should end eventually. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This summer, your passport isn't required. Welcome to Summer in Tokyo at P.F. Chang's. Inspired by the color and energy of Tokyo's vibrant sushi scene, these limited-time creations bring bold flavors in every bite. Discover new sushi rolls, steak tataki, and lobster and prawn fried rice inspired by one of the world's most exciting food destinations. Cruise through Tokyo, one roll at a time aboard our sushi boat, with wave after sushi wave of unforgettable taste. Summer in Tokyo at P.F. Chang's. Your journey to Tokyo starts here.
T-Mobile is launching something no other wireless network offers. Introducing Nothing. Pay nothing today and walk out of the store with a new phone.
What did he say?
Nothing.
You definitely said something about nothing.
Exactly. Go to T-Mobile, pay nothing up front, and leave with a new phone.
Wait, nothing rules.
She gets it.
Hey, thanks for nothing.
For the first time ever, switch to T-Mobile, pay nothing. No taxes, no fees, no money down. And walk out with a new phone. There are 250 reasons to choose T-Mobile, and now nothing is holding you back.
On eligible devices with qualifying credit plan and 36-month finance agreement.
Follow this station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
Welcome back to the Drive. Jay Binkley, Rob Britton. Some were asking, speed rushers sometimes gave him fits at Indiana. But I love the dude's progress. I think it's great for the Kansas City Chiefs to have an undrafted guy playing a right tackle and fighting for a starting job because it's no money, man. No money, no investment they've had to spend for that. Well, the Kansas City Royals made the Oakland A's look bad, and I mean real bad. Despite the bullpen being the bullpen, but the starting pitching, got Noah Cameron going tonight. The hitting looked great. It's nice to have these guys back in the lineup, although Maikel Garcia is going back on the IL, so that's different. Vinny's back, doing his thing, and, they held it down, man. Nick Lofton, those guys, and, hitting well when he was out. Michael Massey's been a guy that I don't know if you paid a lot of attention to him this year, Rob, if he's really stood out to you at all, Michael Massey and what he's doing, but staying healthy. Like, started really, in June and into July, like, man, Michael Massey, if he can stay healthy, he's proven himself. He can be your everyday second baseman at this point. Wouldn't you agree?
He's definitely currying favor, I guess is the way to say it. He definitely looks more the part now than he did previously.
I mean, he's hitting 8th yesterday, but he's hitting 278. The leading hitter on this team is Bobby Witt Jr. at 286, and they're at 278. It's floating around where Kaggs is hitting. But Michael Massey, quietly putting together a good season, 11 home runs, 278 average, 43 RBIs. He was the one that really, when you think of no-hitters that Noah Cameron almost had the last time he was out, it was Michael Massey's defensive play. Do you remember that defensive play he made? You're like, okay, you need one of those to get a no-hitter. Then it turned out not to be, but every game you have to have one of those plays that looks like one of those magical plays that you can have that no-hitter. But you look at this team, and you just wonder why. I mean, that's the biggest thing to me is wonder why the Royals do what they do. But honestly, if you sit there and just talk about the bullpen being historically bad, that's the reason. Because we know this team can hit. We know this team with starting pitching, we know when Cameron's going, man, wow. I mean, this has been incredible. Michael Wacha is solid. Seth Lugo's definitely had his struggles. But, you look at what they're doing with their pitching staff, and right now they sit 8.5 games out of the wild card. So they're talking about that. It's absolutely ridiculous to think that they're going to get there, being, 19 games under 500. But it makes you a little bit upset, Rob, when you look at this division and you think the what-ifs. If the Royals were actually able to, lock down and win some of those games they lost late, because right now the Minnesota Twins, sitting right there in wild card position at 63 and 65. And when the Royals scored up against the Minnesota Twins, you actually like the Royals' chances when those two teams play. But 2 games under 500, that's a wild card team. You have to look at Cleveland. They sit just 1 game back from the wild card. They're 62 and 66, 4 games under 500. Detroit Tigers, who the Royals play tonight, 1.5 games are back from the third wild card. They're 61 and 66, 5 games under. Did you ever think in your wildest imagination, Rob, that we'd be this far, getting ready to be going into September here, where teams that were under 500 were still in wild card contention? Because you look at last year, it was much different. New York, 94 and 68 was your wild card. Boston, 89 and 73. Detroit, 87 and 75. Again, everybody's well over 500 that made the postseason. This year, do you think a team that's actually under 500 gets into the postseason?
I don't think in baseball you'll see a sub-500 team make the postseason. But let me ask you this about the Royals, because I am the person who is not at all excited that they're swept the A's. Not that I want to see them lose, but
it's the worst team in baseball, so you take it with a grain of salt.
And for me, it's a who cares? The season was lost 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago. It was over. I would have preferred they play good baseball in April, not August. So it doesn't excite me at all for this season. But does it give you optimism for 2027? Do you start to be like,
if they play?
If they play. But them playing better baseball, does that get you a little excited for 2027? Because I would tell you, I'm terrified, I'm worried, I'm nervous that a good August and a good September is going to be fool's gold to this organization, and they are going to, make moves on the, margins in the offseason and run back the same group. And we know 2 years in a row, the same group is going to fall short. So I'm excited because winning's better than losing, but I'm actually more scared the winning is going to convince them that, hey, we don't need to make a trade that hurts. We feel like we're in a good spot. It just, I actually think the winning right now is more concerning than it is exciting.
Yeah, you can't be fooled on the way things are going because, when you sit there and look at the Angels and the A's, right now in Major League Baseball, the A's have 49 wins, and the Colorado Rockies in the National League have 50. So the worst record in Major League Baseball is the Athletics. It is the team the Royals had a 4-game sweep, first 4-game sweep at home, but since 94. The Angels sitting with 51 wins, the Royals sitting there with 55. But again, things change for the Kansas City Royals. And if you're not going to be fooled to what they do now when they play bad teams, the rest of the schedule is actually pretty enticing for finding out where the Royals sit. To me, the biggest frustration is seeing these teams like Detroit and Cleveland and Minnesota all being under 500, but yet right there for wild cards. Because you're like, that could have been the Kansas City Royals. That could have easily been the Kansas City Royals. Being just a couple games under 500, still being in contention, making September baseball fun. But you had Detroit for 3. Then you're at Toronto for 3. Both these teams in the race for the wild card. Then you're at Cleveland for 3. Again, another team, fighting for a wild card. Then 3 versus Miami. Then 3 more against Toronto. Again, teams fighting for, a playoff spot. And then Arizona, another good team. At Boston, at Houston, at Pittsburgh, Chicago, and then Cleveland. That ends the season for the Royals. The A's aren't on the schedule anymore, Rob. I mean, they're going to have to beat teams that are in contention. Not saying they can at home because they've clearly showed they can play with anybody at home. They gave the Dodgers a hell of a series in Los Angeles, a series that was there for the taking for the Kansas City Royals, but it wasn't, but they were right there with them.
I just fear is a strong term. I like that players that you view as part of the core are playing better baseball. I love Bobby Witt and Jack Caglione having good second halves. I am keeping an eye on Carter Jensen, what's going to happen with him. But, I don't want it to be March of 2027, and we're talking about the Royals. We're like, well, they brought back their core, and they made a couple, savvy little moves, and if everyone can take a step forward, I think they still need to make big changes this offseason, like trades that hurt, whether that be giving up a prospect, giving up a known commodity. I don't think it can be status quo, and yes, beating the A's is good, but I actually don't think a great September is good for the organization because I don't want them to sit in their offices in November, December and say, hey, look how close we were if we had just been healthy, because that is not what I feel about this organization.
Yeah, and then a nice little late season run against the Athletics that shouldn't change your opinion. That wasn't exactly like a team like Boston. They really resurrected themselves and turned themselves down. They had a horrible record beginning in June. I mean, it was right there with the Royals, wasn't it? June 1st, they were very similar there, but man, Minnesota, 2 games under 500 in the third wild card spot. Unreal. Cleveland, just a game back at 4 games under 500. Detroit, 5 games under 500, sitting there just a game and a half back from a wild card. You think, man, could the Royals sitting at 55 wins, could they have got 61 wins or the Detroit Tigers are? Because all those games where they held that lead late and all of a sudden just lost them. I mean, they're right there. It'll frustrate you going back through the schedule and look at the games like that grand slam in Minnesota that happened against the Royals, or, dropping games with the bullpen late. But, man, you're thinking about this hitting, the way that they've gone through their injuries. It's almost like the 49ers with the electric substation by where the Royals are with all the guys getting hurt, going on the IL, guys you can't count on, Chris Bubich being gone, your all-star from last year. I mean, just all the things the Royals counted on. Then they got a guy like Noah Cameron, from St. Joe, just dealing his last couple of games. He's been unreal. Randy Dobnak, coming out. I mean, he's got some kind of magic going with him because he's looked good. And he only pitched 4 innings yesterday, but yet threw 96 pitches, which is unreal, the fact that he didn't give up a run, but he didn't. But when you see these other teams in the division being under 500 and being right there in the wild card, man, it makes you look back at the Royals schedule and think, man, what could have happened? But 6 of the last 7 games they've won. But like I said, it tightens up now. They win 2 of 3 from the Angels. So won 6 of the last 7, but 6 of the last 7 have come against 2 of the worst teams in baseball in the Los Angeles Angels and the Oakland Athletics, or not Oakland, Sacramento Athletics. But one of those losses is 1-0 against the Angels. Good pitching matchup, but man, it'll make you pull your hair out like Vern. That's why Vern doesn't have any hair anymore. He pulls it all out watching the Kansas City Royals. But coming up next, the players that need a good preseason game 2 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Then we'll talk to Josh Briscoe after that next.
You're listening to The Drive with prominent Mizzou fan Carrington Harrison.
I support Kansas. I want Kansas to win.
On 96.5, The Fan.
This afternoon, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 89.
Weather brought to you by Staples. It's the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech and more at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
BetMGM, official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season long with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boost, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB's same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boost, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. MLB trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Johnny Dare. Everyone shopping New Century Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Paola have been saving an unbelievable amount of money on brand new trucks, Jeeps, and SUVs that have slight cosmetic damage from the spring hailstorm. New Century has a wide variety of these vehicles left that are priced to sell. Save thousands and still receive all the factory incentives. Go see my friends at New Century Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram while these deals last. Remember, you'll always pay less in Paola.
See dealer for details.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Game night's fun until someone spends 5 minutes lining up one shot. Chalk, breathe, re-chalk, still aiming. While they figure it out, I fire up Chumba Casino. I can spin anywhere, anytime, and there's always a new social casino game every week. Spins happen way faster than that shot. Play now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Let's Chumba. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Mom. Now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Park & Go. Your home field advantage for airport parking.
Sun, sand, and stress-free travel start with Park & Go. The best deal on airport parking. Keep your car cool with all covered parking and enjoy fast shuttles right to the terminal. Reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned, customer approved.
Futures Week starts August 31st with everyone's NFL predictions. This is Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Three o'clock hour. Welcome back to The Drive. Jay Binkley, Rob Britton with you. No, it's the Kansas City Royals. Text right here. It says, Bake, be serious. This team is terrible. I don't care how you spin it. They have 50 wins and are halfway through August. Yeah, they're a bad baseball team. Not saying they aren't. That's not the point. I'm just saying I feel the Twins suck. The Guardians, Jose Ramirez is not like he's always been. Detroit Tigers suck. They're 5 games under, but they're only 1.5 games back. The Twins are in the wild card spot at 2 games under 500. So they all suck, but yet they're right there. I'm just saying it's just frustrating to think for the Kansas City Royals and the Chicago White Sox running away with the division. Royals are 3-7 against the White Sox. Against Minnesota this year, the Chiefs are 8-5. So they're 3 games. They've won 3 more games than Twins at 8-5. And there's the Twins that are in the wild card spot, but the Kansas City Royals are better than the Minnesota Twins if you've watched those games play. And to be honest with you, it should be 9-4, but that silly grand slam that cost them win not too long ago. Where's Detroit? They're 4-6 against Detroit. Pretty even series there. But with Minnesota, Cleveland, they're 3-4. So they're just right there. They're right there with these teams. The Royals are not a good team. I'm not saying they're a good team. We know that bullpen's historically bad. They're not a great team, and all the injuries have really derailed this team. I'm just saying there's some crappy teams with still a shot in the American League, and they reside in the same division the Royals play. Just the fact the Minnesota Twins are 2 games under 500, and they're only 5-8 against the Kansas City Royals this year, but they sit right now, currently, at this minute in the playoffs. That part is what I'm saying is frustrating about the Kansas City Royals season. As far as by the way, Rob, I found those numbers for the Chiefs-Rams game, by the way. It was viewership for the Rams-Chiefs game was good enough to become NFL Network's most watched Week 1 preseason game since 2015. One of the featured games on NFL Network. I don't know if you've been watching it lately, but they've been redoing all the so you don't miss any of the preseason games if you want to see how the other teams are doing. And last night, if you want to sit there and watch what the Chargers are doing, the Raiders, you want to see some AFC West, you could have watched them last night. The Raiders game on earlier than the Chargers game later that night, and boy, the Chargers looked bad in that game. But it averaged 2.38 million viewers on Saturday afternoon. That's not a great number, but ratings have been down. Ratings were down on Week 1 preseason. The 6 preseason games that aired on NFL Network just last weekend averaged 1.9 million viewers, down from 2.1 million in Week 1 last year, which that was an all-time high last year. So it was a little bit lower this year, except for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Rams. Hey, love them or hate them, which outside of Kansas City, most of the time they're hated. Networks don't hate the Chiefs. Chiefs are network gold. If you wonder why they play so many primetime games, because people care. They could be having a down year, lose to the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Doesn't matter. People still watch. Maybe they watch because they're Chiefs fans, or maybe they watch because they want to see the Chiefs' downfall. Regardless, you're still watching the Kansas City Chiefs. They may not admit it, but they are, because the ratings would bear proof that they are watching the Kansas City Chiefs games. As far as players who need a good game in preseason game number 2, because they may not get their shot and play in game number 3, I have Peter Woods on here. Rob, there's a lot of expectation on Peter Woods. Didn't have the game in game 1 that you would like to see, but a guy that can move around on the defensive line, spell Chris Jones, maybe help Chris Jones. You hope he helps Chris Jones. This was a guy that going into the season last year, as we sit right now, Peter Woods look at a top 3 or top 5 guy. That's how he was looked upon. Some people had him as the number 1 player in college football going into last year's season, but some went wrong at Clemson. They had 9 guys drafted, and they just totally fell. All of them did. But Peter Woods would be the guy for me, Rod. That's number 1, I think, would have a reason, because I think Chiefs fans get down a little bit about this defensive line. You have Gelati, with the injuries and edge, and, the plantar fascia, they say could be ready for game 1. We'll talk to Nate later about that, but we know, we talked about it yesterday, could be a 6 to 8 week injury if you look at WebMD, things like that. But I have Peter Woods number 1. Any disagreement with my number 1?
No, he was one of the camp darlings earlier this summer, and again, 1 game, and the Rams it was not like they game planned for him, but the Rams probably handled Peter Woods differently than one-on-ones in camp, and the Rams kind of offensive line pushed him around a little bit. So I'd be curious to see if he is camp darling and he just looks good against his own, or if he's going to start to perform a little bit. Again, the games don't count, so it doesn't really matter, but he is someone I like to see in a game setting look more like what we've heard about up in St. Joe.
Yeah, you just want to see some of that excitement. Again, you want to be a Kansas City Chief and not the St. Joe Chiefs, which are easy to get excited about at different times. Number 2, I've got R. Mason Thomas. I liked watching Oklahoma games if he was playing. Had a little bit of injuries last year, but man, this guy has some serious juice. Love watching him play, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Of course, you saw some of that burst that he provided in game 1. And another reason for him, Rob, is the fact that if Gelati's, the plantar fascia, the nagging injury stays on, you're going to see a lot more R. Mason Thomas than I think maybe you initially thought going into the season.
I'm curious about R. Mason Thomas because I thought he looked good in preseason game 1, but I also, reading what Mitchell Schwartz said about how, this, it's not as good as it looked on film, and the Hail Mary play was great, but the guy was 13, 14 yards back in the backfield, the quarterback. So he is someone I like to see perform and, have a good first, second quarter in the preseason game. I'm curious what his ceiling is, but the first and second round picks, yes, those are guys I'm very curious to see about in preseason game number 2.
Yeah, it's important. And in Mansour Lane, you'll probably get to see him a little bit, but just keep in mind, the Rams kept a lot of people back in Los Angeles. The Chiefs always have guys dress out, and it's an Andy Reid thing. You wear your shoulder pads still. You still dress out for the game, the whole game, and you stay that way. You'll see other teams, guys just going straight to the jerseys, take the shoulder pads off, put the hat on, you name it, do all the interviews and stuff like that. It's not the way it's done in Kansas City, and I like the way Andy Reid does it. It keeps them more accountable. And I like how he does it. But the Rams, I don't think, really provided the Chiefs with a ton because that game became backup on backups. Because what are you going to see? Chris Jones is right. If they're not going to play their guys, what are we really gaining out of this? We can gain just as much at training camp. And the Chiefs don't do the joint practices with other teams that are controlled scrimmages at times and down and distance and everything comes into play. I actually see kind of more value in those things, to be honest with you, than preseason games, but they just don't do it. And number 3, Cyrus Allen. Now, you might think he's already a made guy, or do you, Rob?
I don't think he's a made guy.
Okay.
I know the text line does, and the reports from at camp are he is, but I think he's wide receiver 4 right now. Like, maybe he jumps Tyquan Thornton on the depth chart. That could be health. That could be whatever. But everyone at camp raves about him. Let me see it in a game setting. It's great to smoke, Christian Roland Wallace in one-on-ones in St. Joe and get the oohs and the ahs and the videos and the clips. And that I'm not discounting that. I want to see in a game setting. He had a flash. He had a moment. He had a pop. He had a highlight in the Rams game. That ball he went up and high-pointed. But I like to see him have 3 for 27 or, 4 for 31. I mean, I don't need a big statistical day, but I want to see that he's getting targets.
Or a Jacoby Lane type game, 3 for 38 and a touchdown.
And he's making the most of those targets. I mean, he had just the one catch, I believe. It wasn't like he was targeted 6, 7, 8 times. So I don't think he's a made man yet, but I am curious to see how curious to see him again in Tampa, and especially considering it's probably the last time you're going to see him before the dress rehearsals are over.
I'll say this: they need him, and they need him in the worst way. Because we'll see what Jalen Royals can do. But at this point, I'd put Cyrus Allen, of course, ahead of him. And it was on a golden platter right in front of Jalen Royals last year with 6 games. Rashee Rice banged before the season started. 3 games, you lost Xavier Worthy after running into Kelsey on play 3 in Brazil. It was right there. And Cyrus Allen being a 5th-round pick, because, again, that was the dart the Chiefs threw at wide receivers. For a team that needed wide receiver help, needed wide receiver depth. They didn't go out and grab like a Keenan Allen like the Colts did. I was more high on that last year when he ended up going back to the Chargers, bringing in a guy like Keenan Allen because I think he could have helped the Chiefs with 81 catches, 777 yards. That would have led the Chiefs receivers, by the way, what he did last year with the Chargers and those 81 catches, nothing to sneeze at. But he started off a lot better than he finished. But is a guy that I think could help the Chiefs. But Cyrus Allen will be counted on because you need to know what you have going forward. Who's going to be part of this elite skill set that you have at offensive weapons? Can Cyrus Allen be that guy? I hope he can because he's looked great. And yes, hands are very important. Hands are the most important thing because there's nothing more frustrating than a guy like Rashee Rice going out and dropping a 3rd and 8. Running the routes to precision. Making those defensive backs frustrated that you're going to have to work if you're going to cover Cyrus Allen. But yeah, so far it looks good. The guy definitely looks like he's not a 5th rounder at this point. He would have probably gone 3rd round or probably early 3rd round or something like that. But heck, you went at the end of the year thinking, all right, this guy could have been a 1st rounder like Puka. Because Puka, you're like, man, had this guy go in the 5th round, we should have gone the 1st. But let me caution you because a bunch of rookie receivers are looking good across the NFL at camps. I mentioned Jacoby Lane, came from USC, played there with Mekhi Lemon. This guy killed it at the combine. This guy's killed it in preseason camps, makes a ton of one-handed catches, and has been shining. Deshaun Stribling win the 2nd round of the 49ers. He looks like he's having a pretty good camp as well. He did drop a pass yesterday. Not a good look for him, but I think Deshaun Stribling is going to be a good receiver for the 49ers. But that was the Chiefs' choice. The Chiefs' choice was Cyrus Allen, so he needs to work out because you got to figure out what you're doing. Now, Tyquan Thornton does have a 2-year deal, so technically he is under contract next year. If things work out, it's not breaking the bank, so you'd have him back. Rashee Rice, obviously going to be a free agent after the year. They're going to decide what they're going to do with him, let him walk or pay him, which the going rate for receivers is pretty expensive. Ask the Colts and Alec Pierce what they paid $29 million for that deal, and he probably took a hometown discount as well because the market for receivers is absolutely insane. And then you have Xavier Worthy still, and he would be he's got a 5th-year option. This is year 3 for Xavier Worthy, but it is still a thin room where an injury can derail the whole thing. You have an injury with this wide receiver group, it's not good. We saw how much everybody was worried when Cyrus Allen got hurt that one Saturday at practice a couple weeks ago. Like, oh, man, what are they going to do? We really wanted to see what this guy can do. But I want to go and see him go out and dominate a game. Now, it will be dominating a game without Patrick Mahomes because you would really hope that chemistry would be there with Patrick Mahomes and Cyrus Allen because clearly he wasn't able to go down to Camp Pat this year, down in Texas because Pat didn't do it. He's been rehabbing because that's an important factor as far as building that chemistry with the wide receivers. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing those 3 guys play tomorrow night. Coming up next, Josh Briscoe from the Chiefs Radio Network, who he wants to see tomorrow night. We'll talk to him next.
The Drive is always streaming live on our YouTube channel.
If you're a bad tipper, that's okay. You're all right. I'm not here to judge you for that.
Just search for 96.5 The Fan. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Listen up, guys. Do you think you know who's going yard today? Well, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to prove your baseball expertise with Daily Dingers. Here's how it works. Make your pick on who's going to hit a home run, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a shot at extra winnings. Now, when your favorite star goes deep and knocks it out of the park, it'll feel that much sweeter. Daily Dingers is free to play, and you can lock in a pick every day of the baseball season, and that's why FanDuel is your home for home runs. Get ready to play your game. Make your first pick at FanDuel.com/local. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's going yard today. FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issue with non-withdrawable profit boost. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Hey, Albert, can you help us plan and budget for a bathroom renovation?
I certainly can. Let me review your finances.
Who are you talking to?
Albert, my AI financial assistant that I can access right in the app. It automates all things finance, moves money, pays bills, creates personalized alerts, finds savings, and so much more.
Your bathroom renovation financial plan is ready. I found cash you can put aside, and to cover the rest, Albert can get you up to $10,000 fast.
Can you find contractors nearby within our budget?
Here's a list of contractors. Would you like help requesting a $10,000 loan for your bathroom renovation?
Yes!
Download the Albert app and use promo code GO to access Genius. Plus, get up to $10,000 for whatever you need. Just download the Albert app right now and use promo code GO. to get up to $10,000. That's promo code GO.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here with Rob Side at Rob Side Ford. Rob, I smell a grill. What's cooking?
Kevin, the grills are fired up, and so are the deals. Right now at Rob Site Ford, it's the Ford Employee Pricing Sales Event with the best deals we've had in the past 12 months.
Now that's saying something. What are we talking?
Employee pricing on virtually every new Ford on our lot, plus even more dealer discounts on top.
So how hot do these deals get?
Up to $17,500 off brand new F-150s at Rob Site Ford, plus huge savings on Expedition, Explorer, Bronco Sport, Bronco, and more.
Wow, that's 5 alarm hot.
Exactly, and unlike Kevin's Burgers, these deals are coming out juicy.
All right, I walked into that one.
Shop Rob Site Ford, Kansas City's top-rated Ford store on Google. 4.8 stars and nearly 3,500 reviews.
Rob Site Ford, 135th and State Line, or robsite.com.
Buy right, Rob Site.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Okay, we've got the crash that is up north, 35 southbound at Armour. Left lane is blocked there. Broken down semi still working. Right lane is blocked, and that's 35 Northway as you approach Penway. You're going to want to scoot to the left through here. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
And welcome back to The Drive. Jay Binkley, Rob Britton, Josh Briscoe, who hosts the Chiefs Radio Network pregame and postgame. This will be year number 2 for Josh Briscoe as he is ready to roll tomorrow night for the Chiefs and the Buccaneer game. Good afternoon, Joshua.
Bink, how are we doing, my friend? It is always good to talk to you. It'll be very good to see you once the regular season rolls around. How you feeling about week 2 of the preseason?
Looking good, man. Feeling good. By the way, do you have any eligibility left? Are you considering hitting the portal?
Well, so I didn't think that I did, but I may now. I mean, I didn't use any of that eligibility
the judges may say you did.
Yeah, the only thing I really used it for was some intramural flag football in there for a little
You're
while.
fine.
So I'm pretty sure I'm good to go. I can't say that I'm in peak physical condition. I might need a little more of a training camp than some of these guys. But yeah, if anybody wants to make a call and reach out with a strong scholarship offer, I think that all the rules would say that I've got maybe 5 or 6 years of eligibility, considering, I was using most of mine on flag football and the newspaper. I'm out of newspaper eligibility. I have already gone back to school for that once.
You come on tomorrow at 5 o'clock, getting ready for the 6:30 start with the Chiefs and Buccaneers. I know it's preseason football, Joshua, but you do cover the Kansas City Chiefs, on and off, being here on the pregame and whatnot. But does this game excite you, game 2? It does me, to be honest with you, as far as game 2 of the preseason, because I consider it the most valuable.
Yeah, look, I know that this is a bit of a sickness that I think we share, but if I'm ever not excited about preseason football coming around, it's a really bad sign, because, it is fun. It is different than training camp, and I was excited for camp at the beginning. Those days get long, and you go, okay, I'm ready for preseason games. First week of the preseason comes around, and we enjoy it for a while. By the end, you're seeing a lot of guys that are kind of fighting for practice squad spots and all of that, and week 3, who's to say? Maybe we see Patrick Mahomes, and maybe we see nobody who's like likely to be on the 53. But this game tomorrow night, like you said, I think should be the longest look that we get at a few of these players who might be ready, might be in line for a few more snaps. I know you haven't gotten down the laundry list of all the guys we're going to talk about here, but man, I had no idea how excited I would be to see Khalil Benson play in the second preseason game when he was still available at the beginning of May. There are a lot of guys like him, and certainly pretty much the entire edge group, with Ashton Gelati obviously being out for at least a little bit here. I'm really, really interested to see if these young offensive linemen can have a bit of a better effort than they did against the Rams, and to see if anybody can kind of flash early on. Hoping the Bucs play a few more of their starters. Certainly they'll play more starters than the Rams did. I think there really could be quite a bit to be learned here, at least when viewed through the context of what we saw at training camp and what the roles are going to be for these guys when week 1 gets here.
Yeah, I think it's exciting, especially with the edge rushers, because that's one of the things last year with Indiana, because he was in that rotation with them as far as when they faced off against speedy edge rushers. But, yeah, Khalil Benson's going to be somebody to watch. That Jalen Moore question has been interesting, that little camp battle that they got. I kind of considered it a camp battle once Andy Reid kind of spoke about Khalil Benson in OTAs, and what a great story he is. Wasn't one of those priority free agents grabbed right at the end of the draft to make those phone calls and bring him in. No, he earned his way on, and the fact that the Chiefs have a guy fighting for a starting job on the offensive line and being an undrafted free agent, I mean, that is just price. It's shopping at Sam's Club. I mean, that is perfect situation for an NFL team. But the Jalen Moore battle, the Khalil Benson, obviously Jalen Moore, a little bit different this week as he'll be over at left tackle for Simmons, but how do you kind of shape up that battle between Benson and Moore?
Well, I'll say this on Khalil Benson. It's not even shopping at Sam's. You're just like stealing groceries out of the Costco parking lot at that point. It didn't cost you anything. I mean, it's amazing. And I think that there's certainly some luck, certainly some skill, certainly some opportunity, all those things colliding both for the Chiefs and for Benson to just be in a really remarkable place where I've really made an effort, Bink, and you'd be a better historian to ask than me. I've made an effort to try to figure out if there is any comparison to what Khalil Benson has done, and if he was to start in week 1. I just don't think the modern NFL has any real comparison for an undrafted free agent, non-priority guy like you mentioned there, starting in week 1, and not just because of injuries, but because he won the job. And even if Khalil Benson,
crazy.
Even if he is their 6th offensive lineman, that is still an absolute steal. You're trying to build this future, with this offensive line. You're paying Creed a lot of money. You're paying Trey Smith a lot of money, but you have rookie contracts for Simmons and Kingsley. You're paying Jalen Moore a good amount of money on a short-term deal, the second year of his 2-year deal right now. If you could have Khalil Benson be your starting right tackle in 2027, that would be an incredible find. So to the specifics of the battle, Here's how I've phrased it some this week. If you're telling me I've got a light switch, and is the light switch on the Khalil Benson side or the Jalen Moore side? It has been on Jalen Moore as my best bet for who starts in week 1 all offseason. I was betting on Jalen Moore when there was rumblings about the Chiefs trying to draft the first-round right tackle. I'm on Jalen Moore today. But the amount of ground that has been covered, the closeness to which the switch may flip for me has been pretty remarkable. It was a 90-10 ratio at the beginning of camp. And now it does feel kind of 60-40, 55-45 in favor of Jalen Moore. I do still think that it's made a lot of sense for the Chiefs to want to get Benson a lot of reps and a lot of first-team reps, both next to Trey Smith and then in for Trey Smith, and also against the top-level defensive lineman, because you really want to stress test him and kind of figure out what you've got in this UDFA phenom, essentially. So I think pushing him through camp has always made sense, and I think what Jalen Moore is going to provide, but I do still think that Jalen Moore, not just because he's a veteran, because I think right now, today, I think Jalen Moore is a slightly better football player than Khalil Benson is at right tackle. And when you go up against the Denver Broncos in week 1, Patrick Mahomes in his first regular season action back from the ACL and LCL, I think you want the known quantity and the guy with a higher floor right now in Jalen Moore. Even if Khalil Benson is your guy for the long term, if Esapole and Khalil Benson compete for jobs next training camp, that is a huge, huge, huge success for the Chiefs. But right now, as has been the case every day this offseason, I do still think Jalen Moore, if I have to pick right now, he's who's starting at right tackle in week 1 for me. But the fact that it has been a competition, I think, is pretty fascinating on a few levels.
Yeah, I mean, the way camp opened up, practice 1, it was Jalen Moore, your starter. Then the last 17, it's been Khalil Benson. Regardless of who wins the job and starts, whether it's Jalen Moore or not, clearly he would be the guy you would say you would make him a slight favorite. But still, the fact that Khalil Benson has been with the ones, it shows the trust level that the Chiefs have. I mean, this isn't the Arizona Cardinals here. This is the Chiefs that have actually dominated this division, 9 straight, except for what happened last year. You got a quarterback that's going to the Hall of Fame that's 30 years old, has the second most postseason wins ever. You've got Andy Reid going to the Hall of Fame. You got Travis Kelce coming back for another year. Again, Hall of Fame. I mean, this team is loaded, and you got a guy coming off an ACL, but the trust that they've shown in him, to have him even playing with the ones as a UDFA, and starting a right tackle, whether he wins the job or not, it just shows that extreme level of trust for Coach Andy Reid that used to be an offensive line coach.
And that there is something that they have seen in Khalil Benson to say, this guy's worth our reps. Because the Chiefs don't just screw around in training camp, right? Like, it's not just, let's everybody get in a few reps here with the ones. And obviously there are times they'll rotate those guys in. But that's one of the things I think Andy Reid training camps are the most famous for. They're grueling and they're long practices, and they spend a lot of time in pads this year. But they're not just fun and games. You're really trying to figure out who are our best players here. And the fact that Benson, again, has gotten to that point, I think really does say something about what they see in him, the trust you mentioned that they must have already kind of built up really early on, the ceiling that they see in his traits. And all of that still to say, because of who you are, because of who your quarterback is, I do still think that going for the more trusted Jalen Moore is my preference for when week 1 gets here. I am many weeks past kind of rolling my eyes at any Khalil Benson hype. The first couple days was like, okay, this has been the whole process for him. It was, okay, so they signed him out of rookie minicamp. Cool. They signed a lot of guys out of rookie mini. I mean, not a lot this year. They signed, I think, 3, and 2 of them have not, made a peep at training camp. They go through the rookie stage at training camp, and you go, okay, Khalil Benson working in, that's interesting. Out there without pads on, he's getting starter reps. You go, okay, well, that's actually pretty interesting, but it doesn't really matter till they put the pads on. Well, then he's the starter with pads on, and then he stays the starter with pads on. Again, I am long past any sort of like real skepticism on if the Khalil Benson thing is legitimate. It clearly is. And I just hope that really either way, the Chiefs feel like they have a definitive winner, a definitive starter at right tackle, because I don't want them to go into week 1 flipping a coin, And I mean, and Andy Reid might keep that a secret from all of us, but sure. I think in the building, I hope they know right now, really. But if you're still checking on Khalil Benson, give him some more time on the field coming up on tomorrow night. And obviously, like you said, Jalen Moore will be on the left side. Give him those reps tomorrow, and let's see what you do against hopefully a few Bucs starters. But either way, it's already been really, really impressive from the UDFA.
Yeah, as silly as it sounds, I'll never forget OTAs when Andy Reid asked about Khalil Benson, afterwards, and he spent 33 seconds talking about an undrafted free agent. It was like, as silly as it sounds, I was like, okay, he doesn't normally do this. Right. So there must be something there for him to spend 33 seconds talking about an undrafted free agent. I think they really like him in that point. Another guy to really like is R. Mason Thomas. I loved watching this guy in college. Got to see a little bit of juice in preseason game 1. And it becomes more magnified now, Joshua, because, with Ashton Gelati, dealing with the plantar fascia injury, whether he comes back in game 1 or not, depends on how fast he heals, but everybody heals differently. But regardless, he should be counted on with this Chiefs defense, so I'm really interested to see what he can do.
We could have exchanged notes before this segment, and we would have started by talking about Khalil Benson and R. Mason Thomas. I think that is absolutely, I think those are the 2 guys that I am the most intrigued to see. Because as you mentioned, the Ashton Gelati thing, the fact that doctors who know more than I do say, it's better to just rupture the whole thing rather than to strain it or whatever. I go, okay, I believe you. I don't understand that, but I believe that it's true from you, the expert here. But it does feel like, if nothing else, it has to make that climb back a little bit more difficult for Gelati, which could mean more immediate need and more immediate opportunity for Felix Anudike-Uzomah as the more veteran of the 2, and then for R. Mason Thomas as the guy that you have the higher long-term hopes for. I thought he handled himself pretty well against the run in week 1 of the preseason. Obviously, that's the thing about his game that you have a few more questions about. And man, it's just so evident that he is a different kind of edge rusher than they have had in quite some time. Not just that his build is different, but also investing in a guy that's more of a speed rusher type, that's going to be able to bend the edge that way, bend around the corner, and to totally test offensive tackles in a different way than George Karlaftis or Mike Dana used to, or Ashton Gelati now. So I'm really hoping to see a longer look for him with that in mind, that, even if Gelati is cleared for week 1, I think you have to assume, I'm trying to be better at this at least, you have to assume that guys who are active but are coming off of serious injuries aren't returning at 100%. They're returning able to be on the field, but, go back a couple years with Jalen Watson, who I think suffered that shoulder injury in like week 2. Xavier Worthy last year, who suffered his shoulder injury in the first few plays of the season. I don't want to assume that Ashton Gelati is going to be back week 1 and just ready for 80% of the snaps, or ready for 80% of the snaps as a better player than he was last year, because that's still part of his requirement. You want him to take a step forward opposite George Karlaftis and then really funnel the quarterbacks into the defensive tackle group you've invested so much in with Chris Jones and Peter Woods and Kyrus Tonga and whoever's out there then. So I would love to see, really, again, no joke, if Khalil Benson and R. Mason Thomas have really nice games tomorrow night, that'll be enough for me to spend the entire postgame show on, because I think those guys are really, really important and could be really, really fun.
And the other guy, too, is Cyrus Allen. Clearly, he's turned some heads at camp, but he's ultra important, I feel, to this Chiefs receiver core, because injuries always happen. It's different. St. Joe Chiefs are different than the Kansas City Chiefs because of injuries that do happen. And what he's been able to do, and again, a self-made guy for a guy that didn't go to the combine to sit where he's at right now, being relied upon by a Hall of Fame quarterback, I think is good news for him. I would really like to see him shine in this game.
Yeah, I would too. The reason that he's probably on my third or fourth line of guys that I'm most excited to see is because he has the good fortune and in the preseason, the misfortune of it not really mattering until Patrick Mahomes is the one throwing him the ball. And that's not totally fair, because I think it was Nussmeier who was at quarterback when he had that rep last week, where it seemed like he just kind of read the space on the field and then straightened out what should have been a touchdown. But I believe Nussmeier just didn't get quite enough under it to float it out there for him. He's shown some of those instincts that have really made some Chiefs pass catchers, obviously can include tight ends. Obviously, Travis Kelce is a very high bit of praise, so I'll stop short of that. But you've seen these pass catchers build that chemistry with Mahomes to understand where the open space is going to be and how to be, quote unquote, quarterback friendly, like we talked about quite a bit last year. I think Allen's showing more of that and getting more reps in this game tomorrow night. If he gets reps in week 3, great. That is all valuable stuff. But for me, I think I'm almost as high on Cyrus Allen as I'm allowing myself to be until he's out there with Mahomes. And then as soon as Mahomes looks to him on a key 3rd and 6, then all bets are off and we are just fully on the hype train. Because I think that, to me, that's when it takes another step of being very real. Kind of like with Benson. I've just been hurt before, not just on Chiefs wide receivers, not just training camp stars, but anybody in that kind of June, July, August hype that once you get to September, a lot of those guys start to disappear. I think I've just become, in my old age here, I think I've become a little bit more resilient to some of those things, and I just want to see more evidence before I get super, super excited. And Cyrus Allen was one of those guys where he was flying around before the pads came on. I said, that's great. I'm happy to see that. But let's see it when the pads come on. And then it becomes, real football. And obviously he missed some time, but then he came back in the pads and he looked good. So it's okay. Let's see him against another team. And against the Rams, he looked pretty good. So I do think that he is another one of those guys that has just hit every checkpoint. I am very excited to see what he does in this offense. But I assume that when week 1 gets here, he'll be wide receiver 4. Now, when week 12 comes around, is he going to be in a different spot? He very well could be. I think it is very, very fair to be excited for Cyrus Allen. And I don't think you need to put him in a Justin Ross category. I think he's shown traits as a wide receiver and traits as a route runner and an understander of football that puts him in a kind of a different place than his teammate who's on the roster right now, Jeff Caldwell, who his measurables are amazing. His size is like eye-popping. But you need to see a wide receiver at the NFL level. And so if Caldwell sticks around for a little while, maybe in a year or two, you're talking about him as an overall wideout. Cyrus Allen, again, even as somebody who tries to pump the brakes on some of the rookie hype early on right now, Cyrus Allen looks like a professional to me. He looks like a professional wide receiver, and that I understand where the Stephon Diggs comparisons come from. That's a bit steep as an expectation, but I really do understand why those words get thrown around.
That's why I can't wait to get Caldwell. I've never seen a guy go from 5'8" to 6'5" in a year. I've never seen anything like that ever. But Cyrus Allen, if you look at this draft class and you think about Veach and the scouts and what they did, I mean, we could look at, Peter Woods in the first round. Peter Woods was a top 3 to 5 player before the season began. So that hype was already there. And I'm sure they've already been watching him at Clemson for years. Cyrus Allen's interesting because he did play at Arrowhead Stadium, didn't go to the Combine, wasn't the All-American Bowl, then gets an invite to the Senior Bowl. He's been interesting. If he works out, I have to look at this draft class and think, I know Khalil Benson, if he ends up being a starter for the Chiefs at some point, that's great. Undrafted free agent starting our offensive line. But again, he wasn't one of those guys they called immediately after the draft. Right. Cyrus Allen was coveted because he was drafted by the Chiefs. This would, I think, be their best draft pick by scouting purposes, taking a chance on if he works out.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because you've invested so much into Mansour Delane, moving up from 9 to 6 and then spending that pick on him at 6. You need Peter Woods and R. Mason Thomas to be foundational pieces of that defensive line for years to come because you've had some singles, some doubles, some foul balls, but you haven't hit a home run there in a little while. And then, Jaden Kennedy is a very chiefy pick who I just think in a year or two we're probably going to be talking about him just being a starter who we don't think about too much because he's just out there all the time.
Love that guy, man.
It seems he also, you want to talk about a guy that just seems like a football player. Jaden Kennedy and Emmett Johnson, for that matter, are both just like, yep, those guys seem like they're going to be in the league for a little while to me. But if you can finally hit that home run on a 5th round wide receiver, if that can be a way, I heard a little bit of your last segment, if that can be a way that you can kind of extend your wide receiver depth chart into the future, they've spent a 2nd rounder on Rashee Rice and a 1st rounder on Xavier Worthy and a 4th rounder on Jalen Royals. Haven't spent a lot of free agent money on a wide receiver in a little while, obviously. That's something you can look at next year, but it's much, much, much easier to plan for 2027, not beyond just this year. If you're going to 2027 and you're saying, okay, we've got at least another year with Xavier Worthy here and probably a couple years to kind of see what he can do in this offense. You've got Tyquan Thornton in the 2027, but Cyrus Allen's the guy that's going to go from wide receiver 4 to wide receiver 2, and then you're able to go find whatever free agent floats your boat in 27. It would be, really hard to overstate like how stabilizing it would be for Cyrus Allen to just be a surefire starter next year. And obviously, I do still think he's going to be a real part of the offense this year. All that to say, Bink, I agree, I think I agree that if Cyrus Allen is a home run, he could be the name that really carries this draft class, even though the first 4 picks were all on defenders, which they do need to hit still, because that's how you're going to rejuvenate that side of the football for years to come, with Mansour Delane and Peter Woods and R. Mason Thomas. But man, if Cyrus Allen is anything resembling, he doesn't need to be a star. If he's a starter for the next several years, we're going to look back at that pick and go, man, what a home run at a position where they really needed one.
Well, I have one more question about a guy that's out there, but just real quick before that, the running back situation. Obviously, we know what Kenneth Walker can do with this offense. I can't wait to see him work in tandem with Patrick Mahomes and how this will keep defenses honest because, hey, if there's games that Mahomes is eating, maybe Kenneth doesn't. Maybe the games Mahomes isn't eating, Kenneth Walker does. So I'm excited to see that. But Emmett Johnson, you brought him up. Looked good in preseason game 1. DeMarcado is interesting to me. I'm curious if we're going to see him more in the Tampa game early on, only because of his pass blocking is very, very good. He's ahead of the curve on Emmett Johnson as far as the pass blocking, and I know that Andy Reid covets that probably number 1 trait in running backs.
Yep, I think, it was a reasonable question for people near the end of the first preseason game to go, well, that's weird. Amari DeMarcado's out there with, Jaden Ott and E.J. Smith. That's kind of late for the veteran who seemed like your third down back. I assume that the Chiefs were hoping to just get some extra reps, both for Brashard Smith and Emmett Johnson, to do kind of a similar thing we were talking about with Benson earlier, of let's get you some higher quality reps against higher quality competition so we can really start to get another picture, another data point on who you could be as a professional. So I understand when people would say, is Amari DeMarcado, is he the surprise cut candidate? I really don't think so at this point because, as you mentioned, He's probably the best pass protector on the team right now. He's definitely the best pass protector not named Kenneth Walker in the running back room. And you can't have Kenneth Walker on the field every single snap. He's going to live out there on first and second downs. What can you do on third? I think Emmett Johnson could actually spell Ken Walker in first and second down situations here and there throughout the season. But it would be really hard for me to imagine them not wanting to keep DeMercado on the team as the guy that is often going to be the last line of defense for Patrick Mahomes. So I just think they're going to carry 4 running backs. And I'll tell you what, I know this is no secret. I know you spent a lot of money on Walker and you drafted Johnson and you drafted Smith last year and all that. But that's a pretty nasty running back room. Like, I think that they've got obviously high-end talent and depth all the way down. I think Emmett Johnson might have been the best running back on this team last year if he would have been here. Obviously, Pacheco just not the same after the injury. You got to respect Kareem Hunt's short yardage ability. But as an overall player, Brashard Smith's going to be better this year than he was last year. Emmett Johnson is already clearly, he has a little bit of that NFL juice. Amari DeMercado is an NFL running back, and Kenneth Walker's right in that top 10 kind of range. For the first time in a little while, and I'm always on team let Patrick Mahomes throw the football as much as he can. But for the first time in a little while, I'm really excited to see what the Chiefs do on the ground.
Yeah, even a guy like Jaden Ott excites me. He's going to be on the practice squad, so I think he has some juice. All right, here's the last thing for you, my friend. Drew Rosenhaus who represents Tyreek Hill, was on the Pat McAfee show, and he said this about Tyreek. I want to get your opinion on this.
I don't expect Tyreek to sign before the season. He sent me video yesterday. This is good timing of him running hills, and he looked great. And I said to him, "You look great." And he said to me, "I still have some work to do. I'm not ready yet." I am not pressuring Tyreek, nor am I setting a timeline for him. I think that what I have said to Tyreek is take your time. It's not when you come back, it's how you come back. We want you to come back when you feel your best. There's no sense of urgency timing-wise.
So there you go. There's Drew Rosenhaus on Tyreek Hill. I know he's been often in the conversation, but even Tyreek, which you never hear this really but from a player, does want to take his time. He will be one of those late ads during the season for some team in the NFL, should it be the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think the advantage the Chiefs have in that conversation now is that by the time, November rolls around, Thanksgiving, near the end perhaps, who knows when exactly he'll be ready to go. By the time Tyreek Hill is ready to go, I think we're going to know that the proverbial health of the Chiefs wide receiver room, where if Rashee Rice looks like his old self, his pre-injury self, and he's just absolutely feasting, if Xavier Worthy is still healthy and he's being able to stretch the field and do some more in the intermediate this year, if Tyquan Thornton is kind of doing some of the prime Marquez Valdez-Scantling kind of stuff during, his best season, if Cyrus Allen looks like a legitimate wide receiver 2 or 3 on the rise, then I don't think you need to make a call for Tyreek Hill. If any of those things that I just said, or any 2 of those things aren't true by the time Hill's healthy, I think they probably will at least give him a ring. So I can't say that I'm certainly not holding my breath, and even right now, I'm not even really letting myself be excited by the idea because it does feel like it could be a little bit away. But I ultimately think, and I think I said this months ago, tongue-in-cheek, but with some truth behind it, it just feels like he's going to be a Bill or a Raven in December. Just one of these teams that didn't do enough at wide receiver, that suffers an injury somewhere, that wants to try to have a little bit of extra turbo in the playoff push. That, I think, is where he's going to go try to show off for a few weeks and then get another contract next offseason somewhere as a full-time player. But that team could absolutely be the Chiefs. And I think, frankly, I think if all things were equal, I would assume that Tyreek would want to be back here. I think he'd probably want to play with Mahomes in an offense that very well. I don't know if Mike McDaniel's going to call him in Los Angeles. I almost said San Diego. Good grief, what year is it? I don't know if you say, hey, you can get involved over here in an offense that's very similar perhaps to the one that you were just in with me in Miami. But I do think it's going to be something that is just kind of constantly just below the surface until he's healthy and ready to sign. And I'll be very curious to see what the Chiefs receiver room looks like when that time does come.
Joshua Briscoe, Chiefs Radio Network, pregame at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And, of course, postgame as well, and does make appearances all over 96.5, The Fan as well. Joshua, have a great call tomorrow on the pregame show. We look forward to it. Your energy level is infectious, my friend.
Thank you, Bink. As is yours. I love to hear that. I love to be able to bring some energy for the preseason, and it's an extra long preseason tomorrow too, because we're kicking off near the bottom of the hour. So we are going to be preseason pre-gaming as hard as ever, and I'm very excited to talk about all these young players we just talked about today.
Good stuff, my friend. Look forward to hearing you tomorrow and all season as well. Thanks, Joshua.
Thank you, Bink.
There you go, Joshua Briscoe right there from the Chiefs Radio Network. Comes on at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Of course, we have the game right here on 96.5 The Fan. You can hear the Royals over on 610 AM. Remember, we were 610 once. We still are. We still have the signal. So the Royals over on 610 at 6 o'clock. Coming up next, though, NCAA case continues to get wild, and their season starts a week from tomorrow. So we'll get to that next, the latest.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, the go-to show for dating advice you didn't ask for.
If you got to ask your girl to help on the bill on Valentine's Day, you've done something wrong.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5, The Fan.
Country music's biggest selling superstar, Luke Combs, presents My Kinda Saturday Night Tour 2027, playing at Arrowhead Stadium Saturday, May 15th. With special guests Treaty Oak Revival, Avriana, Shenandoah, and Wyatt McCubbin. Luke Combs, live in concert in Kansas City. Get tickets now at lukecombs.com.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
BetMGM, official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season long with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boost, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB's same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boost, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. MLB trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Tune in for the Fan Club Fridays at 1 o'clock with Cody and Gold, presented by Circus Sports. Want your shot at $30 million in guaranteed prizes? Enter one of Circus Sports' premier football contests. Visit circusports.com for details. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
A crash 35 north as you approach Mo 210 Armor. It is in the left lane. And then just before that, you've got a crash that's 35 northbound in 16th. And now that's the left lane that's blocked. A new one, 71 southbound as you approach 29th. You're going to want to scoot to the left there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
And welcome back to The Drive. Jay Binkley, Rob Brenton. Big thanks to Joshua Briscoe for joining us earlier. By the way, I mentioned 6 o'clock for the Royals. It'll be 5 o'clock on 610 is when Vern will be on, and Briscoe will be on Chiefs Radio Network at 5 o'clock as well. That'll be on 96.5. Royals game on 610. Speaking of the Royals, they made it official, putting Michael Garcia on the 10-day IL at this point. Well, the court orders keep coming in. The NCAA actually won something in the courtroom today, which they haven't been winning at all. But the 10th Circuit Court mentioned yesterday, Louisiana judge said there's basically 30 guys eligible to go play now, and 4 of them are in NFL training camps at this point. You have 7 guys hitting in the portal, so they get that 5 years. It really confusion. Playing your first year in 2022, the 5 years to play within 5 years. But Friday morning, the NCAA won, reversing a federal judge's decision that previously opened the door for all athletes who started college in 22 academic year to play 4 consecutive seasons, return for a 5th season. So this has caused confusion as well. Indiana, by the way, has 2 defensive linemen. They're now ineligible. Because of this ruling today by this court, they're now ineligible. So guys they had come back to play that thought they were eligible, now ineligible. There's several guys. The Louisiana case, those guys are fine because there's a halt on that. So they won their court decision, so they're still okay. So that those 7 players that hit the portal, they can still play. Up to 30 have been granted that TRO by the court system to do it. But now it's going to come down to the individual states and the courts hearing the cases of players. This is going to get more confusing. But like I said, Indiana's got 2 guys now that are ruled ineligible. Rob, this thing is getting nuts because guys that are currently on college rosters now can't play. Indiana's not the only school that has this problem, the only high-profile school with this problem. But now those 7 guys can still transfer. Now this thing is getting out of control. It's not on the field. It's off the field in the courtroom where college football in 26 will be determined.
This is why I'm a proponent of the Save College Sports Act. Right now, what is happening in college sports, to dumb it down to the lowest, easiest way to digest it is, if players want to do something, they go to a judge and they sue the NCAA. The judge, historically, has granted a temporary restraining order. That's how this 5-5 rule started. That's how Pandora's box got opened. And now different states are having different rulings and different court cases are going to higher circuit judges and the whole shebang. So I'm happy that a wave of players are ineligible, but there's still a group that is eligible because they were part of a different lawsuit that happened before this lawsuit. And now, these players that were ruled ineligible based on this lawsuit could feasibly go to another state and file a lawsuit hoping to get a temporary restraining order again. Like, there just needs to be uniformity because college sports are very good. We watch at a high level. If they just get a couple things tinkered and figured out, I think it's great. But right now, We have guys who are on practice squads or played in summer league going back to school because they are suing the NCAA. That's a bad system.
I think there's 32 in total with that Louisiana judge made the decision. It gives them a TRO, basically, just like what you said, the temporary restraining order, so they can play. Some guys are now ruled ineligible. What's interesting, like Pasteur, that was hurt for K-State today, it's gone for the year. Well, he was part of that 22 class, but the 5 and 5, he already redshirted once, so you can't redshirt again. You get 5 years to play in college football. So all you do is you find a Kansas judge at that point to say, no, you can play. So this thing is going to come down to the state cases. You know, the courtrooms are going to flooded today, probably, with appeals being made as we speak right now, Rob.
Oh, yeah. I imagine if you're a player who was ruled ineligible by the circuit judge as part of the
When you
were good, you're calling your lawyer, and your lawyer's finding a state you can go sue again. Because right now, again, I don't want to get too far in the weeds because it's very confusing maneuverings of court cases.
Terribly confusing.
Players who sued in Ohio are still eligible because the Ohio lawsuit happened first, and it's still waiting judgment from a circuit judge. So it's eligible based on when the temporary restraining order filed there, but the Colorado one, you're not eligible. There's also one in North Carolina. So it is, if you are a player who was deemed ineligible today based on the Colorado ruling, get on an airplane and fly to Ohio and join the movement and join the lawsuit in Ohio, because then you do get a temporary restraining order and you are back in college sports. That's how you mentioned the Notre Dame defensive end who transferred to LSU today. He's not part of the Colorado ones. Nope. He's a fifth-year player. He gets to now play. Thomas Castellanos of Florida State and Boston College fame. He is still eligible, and he supposedly is considering Texas Tech. It's a very convoluted mess, and it doesn't need to be a mess.
It doesn't, and coaches don't know who can play for them, who can't. Guys are being pulled off the depth chart because they're currently ruled ineligible. It just takes a judge or a court order, a temporary restraining order to get back and play. And again, we got college football week 0 starting next Saturday. So we got college football already on the horizon, and the confusing time has just begun. Need the grandfathered in. And these guys that are currently on these NFL rosters at training camp, they technically signed pro contracts. So they did sign something to be in training camp. They signed those things with the teams to go. Like Pyburn, you'll see him tomorrow. The edge rusher had 2 sacks in the first preseason game for the Buccaneers. He's playing tomorrow against the Chiefs. Well, he's like 4th string at this point. Regardless of the 2 sacks, still 4th string. You're telling me if he just ends up on the practice squad, he could probably make more money at LSU by being a guy that's been around the system, make more money in name, image, and likeness. Now, the next trick will be, can you go back in the draft? He wasn't drafted, but did technically sign a pro contract. So can you go back in the draft? Because typically you had to sit out and you couldn't sign anything at all, and you could go back into the draft. So things have got to be changed uniformly across the board. But this is the most confusing thing to hit college football since all this crap began, to be quite honest with you. Coming up next, a guy who covers the Kansas City Chiefs for ESPN. He's all over 96.5. Nate Taylor joins us next.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Got a crash 35 north as you approach Mo 210 Armor. It is in the left lane, and then just before that, you've got a crash that's 35 northbound and 16th, and now that's the left lane that's blocked. A new one 71 southbound as you approach 29th. You're going to want to scoot to the left there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Nope, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Hey, it's Brew, and I feel like everything in my life depends on being connected. Whether I'm uploading a video, hopping on a call before my show, or video chatting with my family back in Michigan, I never have to think about my Wi-Fi. And that's why Xfinity stands out. You get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that.
Hey, it's Gold, and football season is here. And when we think about football in Kansas City, it's all about the tailgating. And you know what can make your tailgating even better in an ultimate tailgate? It's the fact that that tailgate involves a Ford. Football's better in a Ford. Home games, tailgates, Friday night lights. You have the F-150, the Bronco, Explorer, and Super Duty, all built for game day. And right now, big savings and a huge selection are waiting. So don't sit on the sidelines. Quit your wishing and get your next new Ford at Shawnee Mission Ford. You can shop anytime at ShawneeMissionFord.com. They also get a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty that will cover your new Ford for as long as you own it. That's a special warranty you can't get from other Ford dealerships because it far surpasses the standard manufacturer's warranty provided by Ford. So go to ShawneeMissionFord.com, shop for a new vehicle today, make football season better, and go see Kai Noah at Shawnee Mission Ford, part of the Midwest Ford Dealers, a proud sponsor of the Chiefs.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Almost Andy Reid here. Summer heat can put your garage door to the test. Stay ahead of the game with a Renner Garage Door summer tune-up. Plus, get free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door, forward and back.
RENNER. Chiefs coverage is brought to you by New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola.
Spring hail means big savings at New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola. Save up to $15,000 on hail damage new and used vehicles, plus all factory incentives. But this hail of a sale won't last long. New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola. You always pay less in Paola.
Paid for client betrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law. How about 3 great reasons? 1, it's easy. 2, it's fast. 3, the results.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We're making all of our season-long NFL predictions during Futures Week, starting August 31st, right here on 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back, 4 o'clock hour. Jay Binkley, Rob Brenton, CDOT back on Monday. Chiefs tomorrow against the Buccaneers. Here pregame Chiefs Radio Network, 5 o'clock right here, 96.5 The Fan. Royals over on 6:10 a.m. Josh Vernier, 5 o'clock. So you can hear both things at once. There's a sports palooza going on. Chiefs, Royals at the same time. Happy to bring it to you. Enjoy yourselves Saturday night. Looking forward to the game. Again, Chiefs ratings are crazy. Set the highest ratings in a decade on NFL Network for preseason games. So, even though Goff, Mahomes not playing, didn't matter. People still wanted to see the Chiefs. And, I'm expecting good things again this week because the Chiefs are ratings gold. When anybody gets Chiefs game, they go crazy that they're getting these games. I brought up Tyreek Hill's deal, and I am curious what you all think as well. 913-586-7965, the Jay Southland Tow Service text line. But Drew Rosenhaus, Tyreek Hill's agent, was on with Pat McAfee and spoke about Tyreek Hill and some interesting things, coming out, he's running the hill or whatever. Does Tyreek Hill think he's ready to go right now at this point? No, you rarely hear somebody say that, but he will be. That's the question. Where will he end up? Do you want him in Kansas City? That's the question. But here was Drew Rosenhaus with Pat McAfee. By the way, Nate Taylor had something last minute come up, so he can't come on at this time. I know I said Nate was coming on, but he had something come up, so we'll go talk some Tyreek Hill here.
I don't expect Tyreek to sign before the season. He sent me video yesterday. This is good timing of him running hills, and he looked great. And I said to him, "You look great." And he said to me, "I still have some work to do. I'm not ready yet." I am not pressuring Tyreek, nor am I setting a timeline for him. I think that what I have said to Tyreek is take your time. It's not when you come back, it's how you come back. We want you to come back when you feel your best. There's no sense of urgency timing-wise. I think this is a future Hall of Famer who still has a lot of good football left in him. This was a devastating injury, but everyone's going to be so impressed when they see how well Tyreek is rehabbed. It's not hyperbole for me to predict that he will play this season. When, I'm not sure, but I do think when he does sign, he will be a coveted player. He'll be the kind of guy that will impact the playoff race and will certainly be successful once he signs.
Interesting stuff right there, Rob. I know people wanted Tyreek Hill with the Kansas City Chiefs, back in the spring. It was one of those things like he's out here, but again, it was about the injury. Like, all right, this guy's got a lot of injuries with this year. Everybody saw the gruesome play that happened. He had to work himself back. He's over 30 years old now. Do you expect the same guy? No, because speed has always been his game. Is the speed still there? That's the question. But will he be a late addition for an NFL team for a playoff push? That certainly sounds in the realm of possibilities, and some honesty there from Tyreek Hill to his agent that he's not ready at this point.
I'm curious if Chiefs fans actually want him back, because his injury happened in the season last year, and it was, I don't want to say gruesome, that might be a strong term, but it was a brutal injury, very, very tough on his body, and he's a player who is 1,000% speed first. If he's not ready to go now and he's just running hills, what is he adding to the team? I fear he would be more Josh Gordon. Remember the Chiefs had Josh Gordon, and there was like, oh, maybe they can unlock him, and it was just nothing left because he was at the end of his career. I'm afraid if the Chiefs added him mid-season, it would look like that. Do you have interest in the Chiefs adding him mid-season? I mean, I know he's not healthy now and no one's adding him, and I know Josh Briscoe told us that he could keep an eye out on the Ravens and Bills, teams that are more wide receiver depleted than the Chiefs, but I don't know the Chiefs need to be going down the reunion hill with Tyreek Hill, no pun intended with reunion hill, in a few weeks, months, just because they are so potentially hard up for wide receiver.
Yeah, and by the way, text line, I know it was Matt Stafford. I just accidentally said Jared Goff. I knew it was Matt Stafford, so ease up on that because I did know that. But Tyreek Hill with the Chiefs, I was always first concerned, is speed still there? Because Tyreek Hill is a speed guy. And not only that, Tyreek Hill, even that year he had 1,800 catches or 1,800 yards, he was still top 3 in the NFL in drops. I think he was number 2 in the NFL in drops that season. He's typically a top 5 guy in drops in the NFL, which is fine. He goes out and drops a 3rd and 5. Okay, you can deal with it because on the next series, he might go 70 yards for a touchdown. So then it's all forgotten. That he just burst out and went 70 yards or 80 yards for a touchdown, whatever, because the speed was different. His speed was different. The NFL is fast, and the NFL has a ton of fast guys, but he was faster than that. So he was the fastest of the fast. So that was his game, was speed. And would that still be here? Could he be more of an intermediate receiver? Could he be someone you depended on with hands, to catch it for Patrick Mahomes on a 3rd and 8 across the field? Could that be part of his game? Because, again, the 9 route, the vertical route, all that stuff is great when he's catching the ball and putting up the peace sign and flipping into the end zone. That's great because you forget about the drops that happened earlier. But I will say this, with the Jujus and McColls and all these guys that come back with the Kansas City Chiefs, I understand why there's interest in Tyreek Hill, and he is a hell of a player. There's no question. My biggest thing was, please have somebody here where you don't have to go down that route and play the guessing game, is he healthy or not? And to be honest with you, Rob, I've gotten to this point. I wasn't wild about it at first because I wanted to see him go through the draft and look at free agency and different things for wide receivers or make a trade, but they didn't do it. But I could never say no to a receiver, to be honest with you. Especially in this situation that they're in now, I cannot say no to a receiver that I think could help the Chiefs, even if that's a Tyreek Hill that I'm not 100% sure about his health.
You say you can't say no to a wide receiver. Can Brett Veach say yes? Because they did nothing at the position this offseason. I know everyone's excited about Tyquan Thornton. That's nothing. I know Cyrus Allen hype exists, and I think that hype exists because the rest of the room is lacking. You say you're all in on wide receiver. Does Brett Veach see it the same way? Because he did nothing this offseason to improve the room. He's of the belief the room is fine.
The Chad O'Shea can be the difference.
Correct. I think the Tyreek Hill conversation stems from Tyreek Hill won't stop tweeting about how much he loves Kansas City. That's first and foremost. But I think the other part of the conversation that arises with Tyreek Hill is the Chiefs haven't done anything else. And if the room looks like the room from last year, it needs more. So does Brett Veach know the room needs more? Because they have consistently done less in that room than maybe any other spot on the field. Even edge rusher, they've done a lot more at edge rush than they have wide receiver.
True. And there's guys like Clowney sitting out there for edge, or a Cam Jordan they could have made a deal for earlier. But yeah, wide receiver, it's like they're fine with it. And you see these other teams and scrambling around. Heck, the Texans brought in 3 wide receivers to work out today because of Jaden Higgins being hurt for the year now. So they're set back. But all these teams, the Eagles, constantly were bringing guys in the offseason to catch the ball. It did not seem like a priority for the Chiefs. And then you think, okay, who are they going to add late? Is it going to be maybe a Stephon Diggs, a Keenan Allen? Is somebody going to come in here that can run routes, can catch the football, could be somebody you trust? And it's okay if they, weren't here in OTAs or whatever, because they played in the NFL for long enough. They played in the NFL for a decade and trust them to come back. Hence why the Chiefs rely on these guys that were former Chiefs to come back, because they know the system, familiarity. It's just what they do. It's not something I would do, but again, I can't argue with their success. I mean, 5 Super Bowls, winning 3, that is their mode of operation. That's what they do. So can't argue with it, because the success speaks for itself. But I am more willing now than I think I was in the past. I am incredibly scared about that injury, though. Because my biggest question, Rob, can he do the other things that you require besides the speed thing? Is that fair for me to think that? Like that always comes up on my mind with the drop passes and everything else?
I think it's fair to ask if he still has the speed thing. Like, I know Drew Rosenthal says he's running hills. Great.
That's fine.
I'm happy he's running hills. But the fact that Tyreek is telling his agent, I'm not ready yet, how far away is he? Because Drew Rosenthal is in on Pat McAfee the other day to, be doom and gloom. His job is to sell hype.
Sure.
His job is to have Brett Veach on ESPN and be like, oh, Drew's talking about Tyreek. I wonder how he's doing. That's his job today. He was, and we used to call it in college sports, cruiting. That's what Drew Rosenhaus is doing. He's cruiting. He's out there trying to get buzz for his client. I do wonder about the other things. I also think you have to wonder about the speed. Tyreek Hill was dynamic as a receiver as we've ever seen in Kansas City. A large part of that is because he could go 0 to 60 and no cornerback could keep up. If he's not doing that anymore, and he's not going left to right without slowing down anymore, does he still have the contested catch anymore? Like, because of the severity of injury, I think you have to start to question everything with Tyreek Hill, not just the stuff outside of speed, because he's 30-plus years old with that injury.
And the one thing is, too, Tyreek Hill probably goes down as a top 2 guy, I think, in my lifespan watching Chiefs, for drafting somebody and for something else that became something entirely different. One was Jared Allen, who came as a long snapper from an FCS school, who turned into a Hall of Famer on the edge. That would be number 1. 2 is Tyreek Hill. 5th rounder. This guy can return, didn't go to the combine, was a running back floated around between wide receiver and running back between Oklahoma State and West Alabama, and what can he do in the NFL? And then he became this guy, and he became a weapon, and he became a force. It was Andy Reid always extending his workload. That would always be the thing that was brought up. Well, we're extending his workload or putting him in more packages that we're putting in offense. And then you see the other stuff, not doing the returning game much because he was counted on so much as a receiver. But to become as good as he is and a quasi Hall of Famer in that 1,800-yard year, haven't seen anybody, drafted for, okay, we got a gadget-type player now, just becoming an elite player like he has. So I give him credit for what he's done in his career. I am curious where you could end up, because there are some teams, if he is healthy, like I wouldn't want to see him in Buffalo, because they certainly could use wide receiver help. The Houston Texans, I mentioned today with Jaden Higgins, they've got 3 tryout players now. That could be a team that you look at in the future. And the other team resides in this division besides the Chiefs. It's the Chargers. The Chargers really haven't addressed that wide receiver position. Yeah, Quentin Johnson became a better receiver last year because he wasn't dropping everything thrown to him when he came out in the first round and he became better. Ladd McConkey took a step back last year. Don't know if you watched the Chargers last night, but they look like crap. And I know it's preseason. They bombed 41-17 by the 49ers. They couldn't pass it. I get it. Herbert only threw 2 passes in the game. But as a team, even with the backups, DJ Uiagalelei, 7 of 15, Trey Lance, 10 of 16. They only threw for 161 yards in that game. Wide receiver helping again. This was preseason game 2. I get it. But wide receiver is a problem with that team, despite all the injuries they get on their offensive line, like they're already dealing with Tyler Biadasz, their center being hurt. But yeah, there's teams you don't want to see him go to. And I don't know the relationship with Mike McDaniel, how that worked. Maybe it worked well, maybe it didn't. I don't know. I definitely know the ego wouldn't be there like when he first went to Miami, because ego gets in checked a little bit when you get hurt. You're over 30 years old and you're sitting there floating around with the team. Your ego becomes more in line. So will there be another team that grabs him at that point? Or will the Chiefs be in a situation where, like, man, they have the running game, these wide receivers, getting hurt and you just can't count on him. Would he be a guy because he knows the system come into Kansas City? So it remains a possibility. I like Tyreek Hill, always have, but I know that it's limited. Can the speed still be there? Does he still have that speed to get downfield and make those electric plays? That's the biggest question when it comes to Tyreek Hill. But I'm all team pass catcher at this point. I'm all team. Do you have any juice at all to help this team in the passing game? So that's kind of where I sit on that. And the text line, they're all over the place as far as this is concerned with Tyreek Hill. But I think that they're banking on Chad O'Shea. I see a few texts about Chad O'Shea, the wide receiver coach. That's fine. There is going to be accountability at wide receiver. I'm glad they have him as a wide receiver coach, but that's the decision they made. Instead of talent, they went with coaches, thinking DeMarco Murray could turn around the running game, thinking Chad O'Shea could turn around the receivers, having Eric Bieniemy back in the fold as offensive coordinator. Still, he cut his teeth as a running backs coach, can make a difference on that. But they chose coaching, but the coach isn't on the field at that time. So we'll see. Again, it's not going to be Chad O'Shea out there, dropping passes if that's what happens, but he does have accountability with the team. But I am curious how this whole story unfolds. But yes, he needs to be 100% healthy before the Chiefs would even sniff on that. They're on the radar. He's on the radar with the team. All former players are on the radar with this team. But where does this team sit? Mentioned in the beginning, a couple phases. They went phase 1, kind of with this defense in the draft this year. One phase you don't want to see is going offensive line in the NFL draft. We'll discuss phases next.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let me tell you guys about our friends over at Gates Barbecue. With 5 locations in town, you are never too far away from that classic Kansas City barbecue taste. They are celebrating 80 years of barbecue. We're talking about a family tradition here, a Kansas City tradition. Stop by any one of the area 5 locations to celebrate. Go in there and get yourself a small party tray. Go in there and get yourself the large party tray. Maybe you're a big baller like Rob. Go in there and get yourself the presidential platter. Get yourself the beef on bun with the crispy fries and make sure that they put the seasoning on there. Make sure you get a slab of ribs. And the next time you're there, I know you usually get the fries to the side, but trust me, get the fries like normal, but you also got to get that burnt mac. I'm talking about delicious, cheesy mac and cheese, and they chop up those burnt ends and they put them on top of the mac and cheese. I'm telling you, phenomenal. One of my favorite barbecue sides in the city. So it doesn't matter if it's a party tray, maybe you're celebrating the end of summer. Football is right around the corner, so you're going to be having your watch parties and your tailgates. So you want to make sure you got all your sauces and seasonings and everything you need to get ready for the football season. Whatever your plans are for football, whatever your plans are for the end of the summer, make sure they include Gates Barbecue.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
At Farmers, our honesty is contagious.
Wait, am I going to catch honesty?
Well, when you're with Farmers, it's kind of inevitable.
Well, how long does it take to... I lied to you when you asked if I knew what a deductible was. I don't know my dad's birthday, and I thought umbrella policies were for rainstorms. Actual rainstorms. I have it, don't I?
you don't just have honesty.
You have Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%, which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Let's talk about Blue Chew, the #1 brand for better sex. Blue Chew just dropped something crazy. Blue Chew Gold. For years, Blue Chew's given over 5 million men confidence where it counts. Now they also target arousal where it starts, the brain. Blue Chew Gold gets your brain and body on the same page, just like you do in any sport like a coach and quarterback. Other options just help blood flow, but Gold combines 4 ingredients into one powerful tablet. 2 of those ingredients maximize blood flow. The other 2 boost arousal and intimacy in the brain. Don't settle for half solutions. If you want a complete experience in the bedroom, go to BlueChew.com, get out of your own head, and perform in bed with Blue Chew Gold. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. We got a special deal for our listeners there. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd month for free with promo code KFNZ. That's promo code KFNZ. Blue Chew Gold is the 4-in-1 upgrade, making bedrooms noisy again. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety info.
Hey, NFL fans, Netflix has can't miss action this season, starting with the league's first ever regular season game in Australia, as the Rams take on the 49ers live from Melbourne. Then stick around for Netflix's first ever Thanksgiving Eve matchup, a Christmas Day doubleheader, and a Week 18 finale. It's a massive season of NFL action. Watch Rams versus 49ers Thursday, September 10th at 8:35 p.m. Eastern, live on Netflix.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
2 problems in the triangle. Okay, well, both directions are affected by one problem. 435 southbound, you've got a broken down vehicle on the exit ramp, right lane at 87th, and northbound side, that's a lot of onlooker delay. Okay, we've got 35 northbound as you approach 21st. No, this is telling me Penway. Okay, 35 northbound at Penway, broken down box truck in the right lane there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Rashi Rice from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back to The Drive. Jay Binkley, Rob Brenton. Some news and notes to clear up. Cags back tonight in the lineup, hitting 3rd. So Cags back in the lineup after missing yesterday's game. So will be nice. It's also Players Weekend. where they can do the different cleats and everything. A buddy of mine paints some of the cleats. Craig Greco Paintworks paints all the different cleats. It's always fun to look at. They don't do the nicknames anymore, Rob. They only did that for, 1 or 2 seasons where you had the nicknames on the back of the jerseys. Why don't they do that anymore? Because that was awesome.
I don't know. I liked it.
Oh, really?
I liked the idea behind it, but I feel like some of
Duffman.
Yeah, but I feel like some of the guys were just making their own nicknames. Like I remember a couple of them. You're like, no one calls you that. Like I remember Hosmer had Haas. Like, all right,
that's fine.
That makes sense. Moose had Moose. I get it. But like some of them, you're like, does anyone call you that? Has anyone ever said that to you, or did you just try to give yourself your own nickname? So I kind of like they went away from that. Also, I think baseball decided to pivot toward more, was it the City Connect jerseys and away from the nickname jerseys.
Gosh, it's just been a long time ago because I remember Danny Duffy had the Duff Man or whatever. We're talking 15, 16, somewhere. Been at least 10 years maybe.
I mean, time keeps passing by. But, yeah, that would be 10 years ago where he was a starter. Yeah.
Wow. Man, just crazy stuff there. And also my I was looking here and on X and rain. Rob, for some reason, whenever I do the show, it rains.
I mean, is that up north or is that here?
No, it said Mission, Kansas, or whatever where the studio is. But I think around the city, spotty showers, but 59% chance at 6, I think, and a 53% chance at 5. Which, there's still a large percentage chance it's not going to rain. But still, when you get to 50 and 53 and 59%, what the hell's going on? I figured the text line would know.
I mean, I'm looking outside. I'm not the world's greatest weatherman, but.
Looks
doesn't
fine.
appear to be a cloud in the sky, so maybe
it looks fine.
Maybe in 34 minutes it will be different, but right now it's hot, but it's a gorgeous night. It looks like.
No, it does. I was just shocked to see that there could be rain. I was like, where's this coming from? Because Rob, we've worked during some monsoons.
We got stuck in the building once earlier this year.
Yeah, you and I waited to storm out because it was nuts. But yeah, it's been some crazy weather around here. But 913-586-7965, Jay Southland Tow Service text line. Is it raining where you're at? I mean, surely you're looking at your phone and you see the same crap I'm at. I went to Fox 4 weather, and sure enough, 5 o'clock it was rain, 6 o'clock it rain. I was like, what the hell's going on, man? I thought this was done. I thought this was a nice day, going to be a nice weekend. What's going on? I guess tomorrow there could be a little bit of rain, but who cares at this point? It just seems like it's always raining each and every day. But don't have to worry about it. Chiefs are in Tampa for the weekend, not at Arrowhead.
When there was rain delay in Tampa last week, or there was something that happened in Florida. I think it was some game got delayed because of lightning down there. So while I don't know the weather in Tampa, you never seem to know.
Well, to be honest with you, looking at Tampa's weather, right? Mm-hmm. Tomorrow does have.
There you go.
Well, speaking of rain, what's Tampa at here now? Hourly. It does have storms like for tomorrow. We see so tomorrow it looks like 15% chance. No, it's on Friday, excuse me. Saturday, the game would be 7:30 their time. It's only a 3% chance of rain tomorrow night. 7% at 6 o'clock, 3% at 7. It's not going to rain tomorrow.
Text line is saying up north you're starting to see some stuff percolating.
Really?
So people, I'm in Gladstone. It looks like it's about to rain. Look up north, a little bit of rain coming. North of Parkville, it's dark out. So maybe up in the Northland, you're getting a little wet. But right where we stand and do the show, it's fine right now.
Hopefully it's a little quick moving system, gets in, out, gone fast. But the Kansas City Chiefs, do you agree with my phases, Rob, when I said clearly their phase this year was about coaching changes in the defense? It's about the defense in the draft. Again, it was a top 10 defense, 6th in scoring defense, but do you put them to those same parameters? Should they be a top 10 defense with the changes they made? They already were.
I think they can be and they should be, but I think there's a chance they're outside the top 10 because there will be growing pains earlier in the year. I keep saying this, and I keep wanting Chiefs fans to understand this. It's not a negative toward the team. I don't think this is a sign of doom and gloom. There are going to be moments early in the season where they're going to maybe not look their best. I remember in 2022, there were times early in the 2022 season, the Chiefs defense did not look like the world beaters they were in November, December, January. So when you got a young group, when you got an inexperienced group, when you got a group that because of injuries hasn't gelled quite yet maybe at camp, it's going to take some time. I think the defense will end top 10, but if because they struggle early in the season or they could struggle early in the season, I think they might end up just outside the top 10.
So something we spoke about yesterday when Andy Reid spoke to some of the writers like Jesse and Newell and Vahe, and they put some great stories out there on the Star in the Athletic about Andy Reid and kind of the things that were kind of going through his mind, but some of the maybe changes he needed to make because he's a football guy. So obviously losses weigh hard on him. I mean, the guy cares about what he does in the game. The guy's a perfectionist. And not only that, but the guy's a winner. I mean, he averages nearly 12 wins a year with the Kansas City Chiefs. Didn't make the playoffs for the first time since 2014. He sits number 2 all time. I mean, there's a reason. He's got a good reason to win playoff games. It's called being only 3 wins behind Bill Belichick for the winningest coach ever. In the history of the National Football League, he sits at 28 postseason wins, Belichick with 31. So, yeah, there's a reason why that, he's got a lot on the line for that. Clearly, he wants to win a championship and things like that. He's not really concerned about personal accolades. But still, the guy's a winner. And so he was thinking about on the flight back. And Mark Donovan's there like, hey, we need to make changes. Well, they decided to make changes quickly. He's bringing back Eric Bieniemy because when Eric Bieniemy was here, the offense, the lowest it was ranked, I think, in 6th in scoring offense. They kept teams up at night. I mean, they were different. The phase was changing the coaches around. Obviously, Chad O'Shea coming for wide receivers coach. DeMarco Murray coming in for running backs coach. They knew they needed to do something in the running game. I'm sure the thought of going under center more was one of their priorities as well. We've seen other teams do this. Philadelphia's been doing kind of the same thing. It's the shift in NFL in the way they run offenses. Everything's a cycle. Remember when the Wildcat was popular and everybody was doing it, snapping it to a running back? Playing the quarterback position. Miami did it against New England through success, and all of a sudden teams started doing it. Arkansas did it a ton in college football. And then it was the wide open spread, like Louisiana Tech was running in college football with 5 wide receivers. You started to see it more in the NFL. And then it was drafting quarterbacks, and can they play shotgun? Because a lot of them were under center all the time, and hey, it's the NFL, you're going to be in shotgun. I remember when Sam Bradford came out, that was the big talk, and he adapted to the NFL system, and can they try to force him into some kind of system like the NFL? But they constantly changes. And now the running game, obviously popular. It's going to be in cycles. In 5 years, it's going to go right back to wide open, spread offenses. Quarterback's going to be in shotgun to survey the field. You're going to see a lot more of that. Even Mendoza's going under center a lot more than what he did at Indiana with the Raiders last year. But everything's going to be in cycles. But phase 1 was getting the new coaches in and drafting defense. Shore up that defensive line, work on a replacement for Trent McDuffie, which they did with Mansour Delane. Hopefully got some help there for Chris Jones on the defensive line with Peter Woods, get some help on the edge. Because Andy Reid even said a couple years ago, you can never have enough good edge rushers in the NFL. Said it right when they drafted Felix. But our Mason Thomas coming in, Jaden Kennedy, who can play all over the place, that came in from Oregon. So they made that phase. They couldn't do all the phases at once. Clearly, money was the problem for the Chiefs. And what they decided to do in the draft and not in free agency with the wide receivers, I truly believe that phase 2 is address the skill positions. Because at some point, you have to. You've been able to get by on borrowed time with a 36-year-old tight end that you're always wondering every year, is this the last one? But yet there he is at the end of the year, leading your team in receiving yards or being number 2 for the last decade. Only Tyreek Hill would supplant him for leading the team in yards receiving, and he would still put in like 1,300 yards, Travis Kelce, those years. But the last 2 years, they haven't had a 900-yard receiver. I guess Rashee Rice did as a rookie. He had 938, something like that. But Travis Kelce's led this team in receiving yards the last 2 years. Haven't sniffed a 1,000-yard rusher. So next year, they obviously dealt with the running game this year in the offseason. So next year, to me, is about the skill positions. It's about wide receivers and tight ends. It's knowing who your quarterback is. Clearly, the offensive line is a big thing with quarterbacks. Can you protect the quarterback, give him the time to facilitate the offense? Can he still throw the ball, have the time to do it? Does he have receivers that are going to catch the ball and the offense move smoothly and score points? Because, again, he's the best quarterback this franchise has ever had. Probably the best quarterback this franchise will ever have in its future. A guy the first 7 years went to the AFC title game every year. His only losses in the AFC title game were in overtime. 5 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl rings, in just a really short career at this point. Just 30, turns 31 here in about a month. You're not going to have a guy like that again. Will they address Patrick Mahomes getting weapons? I hope they do. I hope that's finally the time, instead of just throwing one dart at a wide receiver in the draft, you get multiple. You get at least two. They are going to have to address tight end. Now, whether you want to replace Kelsey with two different tight ends, you get more of a receiving tight end and like a Trez Green at LSU, and then get a more of a blocking tight end as well. So two guys to replace the one. Maybe that's a possibility, because it's awfully tough to get a player that caliber like they have with Tony G and then going to Travis right after that. But can you replace them with two guys? These are the decisions they're going to have to make. And then the phase that I hope they don't have to go through, and that's addressing the offensive line again. Like, they have tried to build this offensive line through the draft. It was Kingsley Suamataia 2 years ago. He was going to be your left tackle. Didn't work out. Started the first couple games. He's more of a guard. So he goes to guard. He's actually played well. All right, that shored up your left guard situation. Then last year, you go through the draft and you get Simmons in the first round. So that you hope you have your left tackle of the future. So you've had to spend the draft picks, high draft picks, even though towards the end of the first round there was Simmons, but Kingsley was still in the second. So a first and a second addressing the left side of your line, and you're getting away with it probably for the future with an undrafted tackle in Khalil Benson. Whether he starts a lot this year or not, he probably will be the right tackle of the future for the Kansas City Chiefs. But you don't want to see the mock drafts that start coming out that have the Chiefs going offensive line in the first round again. That would scare the hell out of me, Rob, if we start evaluating Caden Green at Missouri.
Let me ask you a question. And maybe this is this way what you're saying hits my ear, and maybe it hits your ear differently, maybe it hits someone else's ear differently. You're talking about phases and changing the Chiefs and all this, change, turnover is going to come in phases. You think phase 1 is complete, phase 2 will be skill position. You're worried that phase 2 will be set back because of offensive line. Like, that's kind of the gist I'm getting.
Derail it.
Doesn't that kind of sound like a rebuild? What you're describing sounds like the Chiefs rebuilding the team. And I know people hear rebuild and they think it's a disaster, but we had a cut a few weeks ago. John Middlecoff was on the 3 and Out podcast. He said the Chiefs are in the midst of what he called a mini rebuild. I loved that term. I've been coining the term.
Mini rebuild.
What you're describing as phases of rejuvenating the team. Doesn't that sound like a rebuild to me? So it sounds like you're saying, in a sense, the Chiefs are in the midst of a rebuild because they are going from 6-11 and they're not a done, known commodity the same way they were in, say, 2024.
On one side of the ball, they kind of are. I mean, that 2022 draft, didn't you kind of look at that as kind of a rebuild as well when you bring in a Trent McDuffie, a Karlaftis? Your leading rusher that year was Isaiah Pacheco, drafted in the 7th round. Leo Chanel was in that draft as well. So they didn't exactly rebuild it with free agents. They rebuilt it through the draft. Didn't you kind of consider 22 to be kind of a rebuild? I mean, they have rebuilt this roster right in front of our eyes. When only James Winchester, Kelsey, and Chris Jones have been here longer than Mahomes, they have rebuilt this roster.
Butker, too.
Oh, Butker. Well, Butker came the same year Mahomes did, 17.
That's true. I mean, he was.
But he played more.
He played more. Yeah.
Yep.
I guess 2022 worked out gangbusters, and I understand the comparison. And I think it's a great comparison. I think what you're describing is different than 2022 because in 2022 they rebuilt one side of the ball. They had, they brought in Juju Smith-Schuster on a 1-year contract. They had Travis Kelce on the team. They had brought in MVS on a 2-year deal. I mean, MVS and Juju and Travis Kelce are not part of a rebuild. They had Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the roster, although he ended up getting usurped by Isaiah Pacheco. They still had him on the roster. They had Orlando Brown on the roster. He was part of the plan. They had Jawan Taylor. These were not pieces that you bring in to, rebuild. What you're describing is they finished the rebuild of the defense like 2022. Now it's time to turn their eye and rebuild the offense. When was the last time they, quote, rebuilt the offense? It's been a while since they turned over that side of the ball.
No question. And the one thing is, when you think of Kansas City Chiefs and who they are and what they are, what's the first thing you think of?
I mean, the answer is Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. You're thinking of Ben Mahomes. Well, give him something to work with. These guys that played in the NFL, these national broadcasters, ESPN or whatever, they keep saying, Mahomes needs talent around him. He's got to have weapons around him. And when you look at what he's won the Super Bowl with at wide receiver, or what he's lost the Super Bowl with at wide receiver, like that drubbing by the Eagles when Xavier Worthy's your leading receiver in the game, he was that whole postseason. It's like they need to have more pieces around him. So teams aren't just taking out Travis Kelce and then just saying, all right, go out and beat us. We'll take out 87, now, which they did that postseason, worked on Travis Kelce, and wasn't really a factor because Xavier Worthy was that because they had to leave somebody open. So they said, hey, we'll let the rookie beat us. We're not going to let Travis Kelce beat us and move around. But put some weapons, because I brought it up before, my biggest fear is when Mahomes is retired and that day has come in 10 years or whenever it is, and he's retired and you say, did we give him everything that he needed? Or did we give him a guy that spent OTAs in a Dallas jail? We gave him an undersized wide receiver. We gave him a Tyquan Thornton that was on the practice squad that he had to make something good with this team. Because, yeah, he's got talent, but there's a reason why he was cut by the Patriots and now here. I do like the guy, but we'll see what happens. Does he have that Reggie Wayne? Does he have that Marvin Harrison like Peyton Manning did? Does he have that Jerry Rice like Joe Montana did? Does he have Duper or Clayton, even though they didn't win Super Bowls? Dan Marino's guys that he could always trust. Does Mahomes have the guy? Because Travis Kelce has been his go-to guy, which is totally understandable. It was Alex Smith's guy. It's now Patrick Mahomes' guy, and been Patrick Mahomes' guy since he's been in the league, always finding a way. He's got what you were talking about earlier. He runs the route, but then he'll break off the route and go somewhere else, but they just know it. They're in sync with each other where they're going to go. And you watch these games, there'll be receivers running routes, and they have a slant called, and they'll still run the slant like right into a strong safety or a linebacker, and you'll see Mahomes throw it somewhere else because what he's doing is expecting that receiver to break off that route because he's running into trouble and find his space wide open. That's that chemistry that builds with quarterbacks and receivers. But who's going to be his guy going forward? There for a while, it looked like it might be Rashee Rice. And it certainly did when he came back from the suspension last year. Those first 5 games, he was really good. One of the best fantasy players in pro football, catching everything. He's like, man, they might have something here. They might be having a top 20 receiver and have to pay him just top 30 money because of everything that's gone on. But who's going to be his guy? It doesn't look like that's the case anymore. But going forward, in 2028, 29, who is going to be Patrick Mahomes' go-to guy on the offense once Kelce's gone? I mean, that's the question. This guy, again, last decade, it's been him or Tyreek Hill. Because Tyreek Hill was Mahomes' guy too, and he went to Miami, but Travis Kelce was still here. So my question is, does Travis Kelce have his guy on the roster at this point, in your mind? It could be Rice, it could be Worthy. Maybe it could be Cyrus Allen. Who knows? But does he have his guy? I don't think he does. That's kind of where I sit.
And that's why you want phase 2 to be a larger offensive rebuild.
Want more than one wide receiver in the draft. Because you know what? If one works out, great. One doesn't quite work out, okay, but one did. Because if one doesn't work out, then you're really screwed. And then you get in a situation where you're like, oh, man, we don't have anybody else. Like Jalen Royals was their choice last year. They didn't bring that free agent in. They went to the draft. They got Jalen Royals in the 4th, and he didn't do anything for the Chiefs last year. And your quarterback did count on that and depend on it. Coming up next, though, the AFC West. Is there just maybe one other team in the AFC West to be concerned about? Maybe. We'll talk about that next.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers! It's what you are!
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
When a pipe bursts or your AC quits, you don't need a quick fix. You need a team you can trust. And that's Ready Services. They have been that team for more than 6 decades. Family owned and operated, celebrating more than 60 years keeping Kansas City comfortable with expert HVAC, plumbing, and drain cleaning. Get honest repairs at the right price, never high pressure sales at Ready Services. Go to REDDIservices.com and get the job done right the first time. That's Ready Services, REDDIservices.com.
Listen up, guys. Do you think you know who's going yard today? Well, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to prove your baseball expertise with Daily Dingers. Here's how it works. Make your pick on who's going to hit a home run. And if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a shot at extra winnings. Now, when your favorite star goes deep and knocks it out of the park, it'll feel that much sweeter. Daily Dingers is free to play, and you can lock in a pick every day of the baseball season. And that's why FanDuel is your home for home runs. Get ready to play your game. Make your first pick at FanDuel.com/local. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's going yard today. FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issue with non-withdrawable profit boost. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here with Rob Seid at Rob Seid Ford. Rob, I smell a grill. What's cooking?
Kevin, the grills are fired up, and so are the deals. Right now at Rob Seid Ford, it's the Ford Employee Pricing Sales Event with the best deals we've had in the past 12 months.
Now that's saying something. What are we talking?
Employee pricing on virtually every new Ford on our lot, plus even more dealer discounts on top.
So how hot do these deals get?
Up to $17,500 off brand new F-150s at Rob Seid Ford, plus huge savings on Expedition, Explorer, Bronco Sport, Bronco, and more.
Wow, that's 5 alarm hot.
Exactly, and unlike Kevin's Burgers, these deals are coming out juicy.
All right, I walked into that one.
Shop Rob Seid Ford, Kansas City's top-rated Ford store on Google. 4.8 stars and nearly 3,500 reviews.
Rob Seid Ford, 135th and State Line, or robseid.com.
Buy right, Rob Seid.
Country music's biggest selling superstar, Luke Combs, presents My Kinda Saturday Night Tour 2027, playing at Arrowhead Stadium Saturday, May 15th. With special guests Treaty Oak Revival, Avery Anna, Shenandoah, and Wyatt McCubbin. Luke Combs, live in concert in Kansas City. Get tickets now at lukecombs.com.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It's Chiefs season at Harrah's Kansas City. Every Saturday in August, the excitement kicks off at 6 p.m., where every 15 minutes until 10 p.m., one lucky guest will win up to $2,000 in free play. Then at 10 p.m., one grand prize winner will score a pair of Kansas City season tickets. Wear your red, bring your lucky game day spirit, and join us every Saturday in August at Harrah's Kansas City. Big prizes, big excitement. Don't miss your shot to win.
21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola.
Spring hail means big savings at New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola. Save up to $15,000 on hail damage new and used vehicles, plus all factory incentives. But this hail of a sale won't last long. New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola. You always pay less in Paola.
Tune in for the Fan Club Fridays at 1 o'clock with Cody and Gold, presented by Circus Sports. Want your shot at $30 million in guaranteed prizes? Enter one of Circus Sports' premier football contests. Visit circusports.com for details. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Okay, near downtown, we've got 35 northbound. That's a broken down box truck. Right lane is blocked, and that's going to be at Penway. Let's head out east, 470 southbound at 40. That's a two-car crash. I'm seeing some yellow. Folks are tapping their brakes. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Peter Woods from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back, Jay Binkley, Rob Britton. Jordan Tyson's not a guy that I wanted because of the injury history text line, so don't even go there because I made that very, very clear. But Rob, it says it's raining. Text line says it's going to be raining here soon. It's going to go from 94 degrees down to like 77 in like just this hour. And then go back up in the 80s.
I see clouds at least over on the north side, but like I think it's going to, I mean, north is relative. I don't think it's going to go super far south. Like I was looking at my phone and I live further south than here and it says, 20% chance at 5, 20% chance at 6. But I think
maybe it's up north.
The more north you get, the more likely you are to get hit.
Yeah, text line says he's got Kelsey as far as the receivers. Yes, but I didn't think you wanted Kelsey to be the go-to guy and not the offense running through a 36-year-old tight end again. Have wide receivers that can carry the load. Because guess what? Mahomes is going to spend second half of his career here without Travis Kelsey. That's probably going to get Travis for about one more year, if that. He's not playing again, Rob. I mean, there's no way in hell, right?
If he does, it's like...
But you never know.
They have to renegotiate his contract if he does. I don't think so because the way his contract's set up, but you never know.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, you never know with him, though, because you know what? He's been fine. He showed up to camp, and he's married now and everything else, but you never say never when it comes to him. But yes, I want to see Patrick Mahomes have other weapons going forward. The AFC West, yeah, Denver does look good. I'll be honest with you. I think Denver's going to be a solid team. I know they had a lot of one-score wins last year, and they'd win at the end of the game, but they clearly are on the right path. The Chargers, man, just keep taking injuries, and I don't know that Alt's healthy now, and you look at that offensive line, and Rashawn Slater's back down. Both those guys, Rashawn Slater missed the whole year for him last year, and then last year Joe Alt got hurt early, but they go out and get a center. Tyler Biadasz, he's gone now for the year. And then you look at the wide receiver help, and I know you can't look at the preseason scores because they don't matter. The Chiefs haven't won a preseason game since, 23? I mean, it's been a while. But Houston dominated them 27-7. They were dominated again last night, 41-17. And when you look at the Chargers, Rob, don't you sit there and look at a team still searching for that wide receiver help? I know they got Arondé Gadsden and tight end and everything, but that can't be the total answer for what Justin Herbert needs. He was sacked more than any other quarterback last year. But Ladd McConkey did deal with the hamstring earlier in the summer. He did play last night. He looks to be fine. Quentin Johnson got banged up a little bit in that joint practice with the Niners, but he should be okay. But if you're a Chargers fan, do you feel great about the wide receivers right now? Because same situation here. I get it. And they have a good running game with Omarion Hampton and Kamani Vidal back there. But again, they didn't really exactly go out and get wide receivers. Denver did in Jalen Waddle.
There is a eerie similarity in my mind between how the Chiefs and Chargers have handled this offseason. Both of them associated it with coaching and health, at least on the offensive end. Because the Chargers got a new offensive coordinator, the Chiefs got a new offensive coordinator. The Chargers felt like, hey, even though our wide receiver room wasn't great last year, we trust those guys to take a step, or it's a regression year, they'll go back to who they are. That's kind of how the Chiefs have handled their wide receiver room. The Chargers have said, if we were healthy in 2025, we would have been better. Remember, they didn't have Joe Alt, and they didn't have Rashawn Slater. The Chiefs have said, if we were healthier in 2025, I think we would have been a better team. So I think there's an eerie similarity between the Chargers and Chiefs. And you look at the way each of them have handled the offseason, it's a little bit like the Spider-Man meme, I think.
Well, yeah, you look at their receivers, their starting receivers, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, and, of course, they got Brendan Thompson, who's kind of like a smaller version of Xavier Worthy and not as good as Xavier Worthy. He's got the speed. They drafted him out of Mississippi State, so I see the potential in that, but I think it's Kansas City and Denver, man. I mean, you look at these games, and again, I don't look at the scores in the preseason, but what do you do during the game? Do you do anything that kind of excites you? And I know Justin Herbert barely played last night, but still, their passing game, their scheme with Mike McDaniel, it looks off kilter, man. It just doesn't look the same. There seems to be some issue with it. Maybe it'll be different. Because last year, I mean, they started off great. We all know that. They started off actually perfect. They started off 3-0, and all three games were against the AFC West. They started 3-0 against the AFC West to begin the season. That is an incredible way to start the season. Not the way they finished it, but an incredible way to start it for the Chargers. And, of course, injuries took their toll, which they always do with that team. And can they catch the ball to Justin Herbert, who, by the way, Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence have 3 times fewer playoff wins than C.J. Stroud. I know we laugh about C.J. Stroud and all this, and he's not been great and wasn't great. He kind of held the Texans back last year, but he has 3 playoff wins. Lawrence and Herbert have 1 combined between those quarterbacks. So it'll be interesting seeing the AFC West, but it could come down probably to Chiefs and Broncos in that first game, man, getting off to a good start against the Broncos. So huge for the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, coming up next, despite the rain, we play the hits.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Okay, near downtown, we've got 35 northbound. That's a broken down box truck. Right lane is blocked, and that's going to be at Penway. Let's head out to east, 470 southbound at 40. That's a 2-car crash. I'm seeing some yellow. Folks are tapping their brakes. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
There's no shortage of soccer to bet on this fall. FanDuel is giving you more ways to get rewarded while you do it. Introducing the Reward Stack. With the Reward Stack, you can unlock multiple rewards with just one click, giving you more ways to get in on all the soccer action. So whether you're backing your favorite club or building a same-game parlay or betting player props, check your Reward Stack to see what's waiting just for you. More soccer, multiple rewards, just one click away. Get your Reward Stack on FanDuel today. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable profit boost tokens and bet reset tokens. For bet reset token, refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This report is brought to you by Go Car Wash. It's your time to go shine.
For limited time at Go Car Wash, mention radio and get any wash for just $5. Yep, any wash. That's up to 80% off our best wash. Visit Go Car Wash today. It's your time to go shine.
Swiffer Power Mop.
I have a dare for you. After you use your old mop and bucket, put on your whitest socks and walk across the floor. Now look down. What's that gray stuff on your socks? I used to have that too, until I switched to Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop breaks down and locks away tough messes. Take the dare. Try Swiffer Power Mop. White sock approved.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Skechers elite athlete OG Anunoby has been making history on the basketball court.
Anunoby tips it in. Unbelievable. What a shot.
He's been balling out in Skechers high-performance basketball sneakers, and the world is noticed. But how does OG train off the court to keep in peak physical condition? Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins AeroBurst. They help prepare OG for the physical demands of playing at a championship level. Get your pair of AeroBurst for only $165 at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever high-performance running shoes are sold.
Tonight, expect a temperature of 70 with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms.
Weather brought to you by Staples. It's the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech and more at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special both for you and your partner. At Heartland Men's Health, we take great pride in providing excellent care and treatment options for ED. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Whether I'm setting up the ultimate tailgate or hosting a watch party, game day is all about the Chiefs and keeping it stress-free. That's why I go to Hy-Vee. They make planning a breeze with everything you need in one convenient stop. We're talking about tailgate trays packed with sliders, wings, charcuterie, sushi, appetizers, and those iconic Chiefs-themed cookies. Plus, a massive wine and spirits department to top off your beverage order. Let Hy-Vee handle the work. Just order online for pickup or delivery. It's a total game changer, only at Hy-Vee.
Back to school savings start now at Hy-Vee's 3-day sale. Stock up and save big this Friday through Sunday with hot deals in every department: meat, produce, bread, cereal, and snacks. Want an easier way to shop? Order on the Hy-Vee app or at Hy-Vee.com. Choose pickup or delivery and we'll do the shopping for you. Save time, save money. Shop your way during the back to school sale this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for, client portrayal, and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Follow the station on Instagram for daily videos like the Royal Decree, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Would You Rather Wednesday. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Five o'clock hour. Welcome back to the Drive. Jay Binkley, Rob Brenton with you. Now, 5 o'clock, still not raining, Rob, although the clouds are definitely taking over outside.
Definitely the odds have shifted a little bit for rain. I think we might get some on the way out of the building and maybe on my drive home a little bit, but I think up north is where it has a chance to be potentially a little bit worse.
Yeah, I think we're going to get some too. I think that's the way it's going to work.
I saw hail and damaging winds are possible. I don't think it's like a, oh man, run for the hills type of storm, but also I'm not a weatherman, so.
Well, there is a severe thunderstorm warning, including Leavenworth, Kansas, Lansing, Kansas, and Bonner Springs until 5:30. So that is definitely in the listening area, and it's real close to being here. To be honest with you, when you look at this triangle, so the severe thunderstorm warning is really close to here, but I digress. One thing that we started the show with, and we'll do the hits here in just a second, was Jesse Newell had this article out on the 6 things that they learned from Chiefs training camp. And one, obviously, Patrick Mahomes looks like himself. That was really never in doubt. That guy you never count out. He just comes back just like the dislocated knee. The dude wanted to keep playing. He did pick up the first down on that play. But there's some guys wired that always want to play. Cal Ripken always wanted to play. Not comparing this streak to that because he has missed games and Cal didn't. But it's a different sport between football and baseball. But you kind of knew the writing was on the wall when all of a sudden you look back at the fact that the ESPN put the Chiefs and Broncos on the first game of Monday Night Football. They had to have an inkling that they knew Mahomes would be back. And just like it went, they're already promoting it. They're promoting Mahomes versus next, the Chiefs versus the Broncos in game 1. Mahomes is a big part of that. They've already started the advertisements for it. I've already seen them with talking about game 1 in the NFL with Mahomes versus Nick. So you knew that was going to be a thing. And then when Travis decides to come back, he's coming back. You knew that it wasn't going to be long. If it's 1 or 2 games, that's fine. But Travis Kelce wasn't coming back to play with the backup quarterback. He was coming back to play with Patrick Mahomes in particular. Kenneth Walker, something they noticed to have a different role. I agree. I think Kenneth Walker's been a big part of this wave to fix the running game. It often kind of goes unnoticed when people are talking about teams that made additions to their team. What did teams really do, through the draft or through free agency? The Ken Walker thing doesn't really get brought up that much. The fact that there is 4 Super Bowl MVPs on that offense now. 3 with Mahomes and 1 with Kenneth Walker. So not only get a free agent, you got the Super Bowl MVP last year, and you saw what he was able to do in the postseason last year. It was unreal what Ken Walker was able to do with this running game. Then they draft him at Johnson. They bring in DeMarcado as a free agent, bring him in, put him in there. It's loaded all the way through. Even their practice squad is going to be loaded with guys like Jay Nott here with that running game. But it is going to be different because it's going to play off Patrick Mahomes. So the safeties are going to have to stay honest now, because now instead of turning around to Isaiah Pacheco, that'll get you 2 or 3 yards and then fall down, now there's the Kenneth Walker with explosive runs that can go for the distance and get you a touchdown as far as what Kenneth Walker can do with this offense. So if Chiefs want to have a game plan where they come out, remember that a couple years ago when they played in Buffalo? I think it was back when they didn't have fans back then during COVID or something. They went up there and ran, and Patrick barely threw the ball. It was handing off to Clyde all the time, and they won. That was the game in the regular season. They beat the Buffalo Bills, but they did it with running game. But this gives them 2 ways to attack, I believe. If Mahomes is having success deep because the safeties are creeping up to stop Kenneth Walker, that's good. That bodes well for Patrick Mahomes. And then there might be games where the safeties, playing back. So Mahomes is going to go short. He's going to be handing the ball off a lot to Ken Walker. But it is going to kind of change the dynamic of the offense and what they're going to do. The other thing is, obviously, they said the offense will look different, but we kind of covered that with the previous answer. The Chiefs have big depth concern in one area. And Jesse says, well, most of the offseason talk is centered around the Chiefs' lack of perceived depth at wide receiver, which I agree. A different position group appears to be a bigger red flag right now, the interior offensive line. And Trey Smith's injury does, bring credence to that. I know Josh Simmons is not playing in this game. It's a back issue. He's had the last couple of practices that he's missed. Don't see that as being as a big concern now. Now, if we're in week 1 or week 2 and it's showing up on the injury report and you're concerned about it, and you got Jalen Moore over there at left tackle, which he will be tomorrow night, and you have Khalil Benson at right tackle situation, yeah, that's something to be concerned about at that point. But at this point, you don't need to be concerned about Josh Simmons, in my opinion. I'm no doctor. I haven't seen him, haven't done any medical evaluations, don't know. I assume he's going to be fine, which is good. It bodes well for the Kansas City Chiefs, but it is thin. It means, Mike Caliendo, Hunter Norzad, because Hunter Norzad's your backup center. Can he play guard as well? Khalil Benson, they tried to do a little bit of maneuvering in training camp with him playing guard and then moving over to tackle. He'll be at right tackle tomorrow against the Buccaneers. But in Jalen Moore, can he be viable? Can he win that right tackle job? And also, can he slide over to left tackle if he has to for Josh Simmons? Because you don't want to miss a beat. Your left tackle goes down, you want to be able to slide Jalen Moore in, put Khalil Benson in at right tackle, and not miss a beat with the offense. You don't want to take a setback with the offensive line. So I'm hoping that's not phase 3 for the Chiefs, reworking their offensive line. And also, they talk about the rookies and how the rookies can make a difference. We obviously saw that big rookie influx in 2022. Or at the parade, Brett Veach holds up the Lombardi and says this is what a rebuild looks like. It was his rookie class and what they were able to do. But Andy Reid, even at training camp before he left, was talking about the Chiefs rookies.
Yeah, you could take that rookie class and look at them. They all, I thought, had their day. And they've added some consistency to their game. We always talk about stacking days and improving every day. And find one thing you can work on to get better at, all those things. I thought they handled that and tried to do that. So, but you could take that whole class there, and I'd give them a thumbs up on how they went about their business.
Do you like the term stacking days? Is that overused? Because I hear coaches use it all the time.
It's a very football term.
Stacking days.
That's like every position coach. Like you hear the interviews with position coaches in college and pro, like, so-and-so's a good player. He's got to just keep stacking days. Just got to stack days.
Stacking. You heard some Clint Kubiak interviews? Like Max Crosby even said last night, hey, he doesn't have a great personality. He was a great guy. Great guy. Clint Kubiak is all business, man. I like it. It's kind of refreshing, but he's all business. Don't expect a bunch of smiles with Clint Kubiak. Could the Raiders finally have it figured out? I don't know if you saw that game last night, but they looked like crap when it was 20-3. They did come back to win the game. But again, when you get the backups in towards the end of the game, things change. But they did end up winning that game. But do the Raiders appear different? Because they were dropping a lot of passes, that number one offense. And, of course, Bowers didn't play, which makes a big difference for the Raiders. Are we like 5 years away from the Raiders being viable, or can this be a good team in, say, 2 to 3 years? Can Ashton Genty take over? I really like Mike Washington, their backup running back, but Bowers and company, or is it going to be a situation where they're up and ready to go and Mendoza's got the offense going, and boom, everybody's a free agent? And then they lose half those guys. And then Crosby's out of the league. That's the one thing with the Raiders. Did the quarterback come too late? Because they certainly went for the key positions, skill positions, like Bowers at tight end, Ashton Genty at running back, hoping Mendoza is the difference at the quarterback position for them.
I mean, they tried to trade Crosby. I mean, they technically had traded Crosby.
Which is a weird deal.
It was and now he's back, and that was a whole kind of a thing we kind of forgot happened this offseason. But I think the Raiders will be better, but it is fair to ask, like, did they miss the wave with their, younger talent?
But the rookie class, are you pleased with the rookie class at this point? Now, keep in mind, we can't really judge this for at least a year or two. Sometimes a year later, because Noel Williams definitely outplayed his draft choice.
I mean, I would say I'm neither pleased nor upset. I would say I'm net neutral. They've played 0 football games that count.
0. I get it. But they've done a good job with Creed Humphrey. You look back and thinking, okay, it's first rounder. Trey Smith, definitely not a 5th rounder. And you hope you draft guys, and all of a sudden, a year later, 2 years later, you're doing a redraft in their first rounders, which they have found that success to certain points. But I'm certainly looking forward to this rookie class tomorrow night and seeing what they can do against the Buccaneers, because they're going to be playing a lot of their starters. So hopefully the Chiefs can too. But anyway, those 6 observations. I think the wide receiver depth is something we knew going into it. I don't think that changed. I mean, yeah, it's great to see what Cyrus Allen is doing, but again, like Rob said, we'll see what he does against real competition, against real teams in real games, not just in practice, where he really showed out before they even put the pads on. Put the pads on, still looked like a viable receiver. I'm excited to see what he can do going forward, but I still had my questions about the wide receiver group, the same I did when it was NFL draft time as well. Well, let's go ahead and play the hits.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Bink, the hits are brought to you by Jungle Law. Jungle Law is here to dominate all cases of DUI, personal injury, criminal defense, and sexual harassment. Call the lawman today, 816-816-9111. Well, Bink, as you mentioned there, was part of the 6 observations. Offensive line came up, and the Chiefs are dealing with some offensive line injuries. You mentioned Trey Smith and Joshua Simmons will not play in the Chiefs' second preseason game. Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated, he was on Cody and Gold earlier today. He was asked if there's any concern in the building about the Simmons or Smith injury lingering into the regular season.
I've talked to people in the building who would certainly be in the know, and the Simmons is fine. Like, literally the wording that I got. I mean, I think it's a little bit of a more cautious approach right now. I think if this was during the season, would be a non-issue. It's more, hey, look, it's the middle of August. There's no reason to push it. But I don't sense any real concern. And then with Smith, if it goes through next week and he's not practicing, I'd have some concern. I know he went to see a specialist. They genuinely, at this point, are not concerned. But, a hip can be a little bit of a tricky thing. He's a big body. I mean, we're not talking about some guy who's 180 pounds. He is obviously, he's 315, whatever he is. So it's at this juncture, there's no real concern. But, listen, we get toward the last few days of August and one or both are not there. Then you have to say, okay, well, is there maybe a need for a reevaluation? But right now, I don't think there's any real sense of concern in the building.
Bink, Matt Verderam says, as of right now, there's no need for concern for Smith or Simmons potentially missing week 1. But are you somewhat worried about either one of them missing week 1? Or does the fact that this leads to some shifting, maneuvering, and twisting and turning around the offensive line for the preseason potentially affect week 1? Do you have any offensive line concerns as we get closer and closer to that Monday Night Football game with Denver?
No, not concerned about it at this point. Again, we're sitting here. What's today? The 21st, 22nd? What is it? 21st?
21st. 8/21.
Yeah, and the first game, the 14th of September. So, no. we're still, 9 days away from cut down days. So then there are 14 days after that, or 2 weeks to rest. I mean, that's the one thing about the season. It seems like it's now, and we have college football next weekend. The Chiefs don't play till September 14th, so time to wait. So, yeah, I'm not concerned at all when it comes to that. Just resting players, make sure, because that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if they're playing preseason game 2 against the Buccaneers. What matters is playing September 14th on Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos. So no concern at this point. The link, especially with Simmons, Trey Smith may be a little more alarmed because it's been 10 days missed the practices, so that starts to be more of a concern with Trey Smith. Hopefully everything's fine when the regular season starts, because that's when it begins. We've seen this offensive line and some of the greats that they've had on it be banged up during the week, but yet still find a way to go out and play. Oh, and by the way, Rob, the National Weather Service is now including Kansas City, Missouri, Overland Park, Kansas, and Kansas City, Kansas in a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:45.
I saw Johnson County, Kansas is now including that as well. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yeah, I did. Well, Overland Park, Kansas, so Johnson County. But Kansas City, Missouri, Overland Park, and KCK now in the, quote, severe thunderstorm warning. Let's hope this thing doesn't parlay till after the show.
Let me ask you this real quick question about the offensive line, then we'll get to hit number 2. Do you think this could probably signal what they feel about Khalil Benson? Because when they had some injuries in the preseason on the offensive line, they didn't say Khalil Benson is our right tackle and try to figure it out with Caliendo and try to figure it out with Jalen Moore at left. They started moving Khalil Benson around. Does the injuries on the offensive line maybe signal to you how the Chiefs feel about Khalil Benson being the week 1 starter versus Jalen Moore being the week 1 starter?
Yeah, maybe so a little bit. I know that Andy Reid preaches that versatility. Can they play guard? Can they play tackle? Jalen Moore, right tackle to left tackle. He loves the versatility, and we've seen Khalil Benson at some guard too, which he did play some in college, and of course tackle as well. But no, I think they got a real find with Khalil Benson. There's certainly a trust level there with that team in him, or he wouldn't have been with the ones, because, again, they don't mess around with that. So if a guy is, third string or whatever, and you're having him run with the ones, they don't do that. You run with the ones if they value you as a number 1. And, of course, you're blocking for Patrick Mahomes. And, again, he had the no-contact jersey on. But still, you're blocking for Patrick Mahomes out there. So, not exactly at this point. Not worried about it. The versatility, I like Andy Reid's thoughts and philosophy when it comes to his offensive line and the versatility. But, again, you start off. Yeah, they have a bye week extremely early, which is good, I guess, in the case that the offensive line is banged up. But, man, you need this season to start off with a bang, because last year did not. Need this year to start off in a good way for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that starts with Denver Broncos on the 14th.
Number 2.
Speaking of the preseason, Bink, who are some players that you are going to be keeping your eye on down in Tampa Bay? Everyone was excited and fired up in week 1 to see the new commodities. Now they've seen them a little bit, but who are you watching for week 2? What players should fans have their eye on that will affect the regular season? Like, I don't care about Garrett Nussmeier. What players are you watching in preseason game number 2?
R. Mason Thomas is definitely one of them, because of, obviously, with Ashton Gelati's injuries behind him there on the depth chart there. He will be playing a lot in a rotation, obviously, but maybe playing a little bit more in the beginning with that plantar fascia injury with Ashton Gelati. We think he might be ready for week 1, but it's still going to be one of those situations where you see R. Mason probably a lot out there. Gives them a little different element of what they've had at the edge rusher with that speed dimension that he's got. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got. This guy's all over the place. I remember he had a 71-yard fumble return for a touchdown back in college. He had hurt his hand, but he did get hurt. Well, I think it was his quad. He hurt on the play and had to miss a game. But still, he shows that versatility and athleticism. So definitely him. I want to see Peter Woods. What can he do on that defensive line? Are you confident that that kind of spells some help for Chris Jones? Get some double teams going on so Chris Jones can be back to being Chris Jones all the time and not worry about carrying the load for the Kansas City Chiefs. So certainly Peter Woods up there. So Peter Woods, Khalil Benson, definitely want to see some R. Mason, see what he's all about, and see Cyrus Allen. I know that it's been talked about a lot, but see what he can do in a game action. Can he make a difference? What kind of routes does he run? Does he make great catches? What's he do yards after catch when he gets the ball? Can he make a difference in this game? Those are kind of the 3 that I'll be watching, 3 to 4 that you'll be paying close attention to tomorrow.
Let me ask you this about Cyrus Allen. So I didn't catch him on your list. Are you ignoring him because he's now a known commodity? He's now a made man for a Goodfellas example?
No, I did include him there at the very end just because I do want to see it. It is an interest, to see how he's developing. But those other guys would be at the top of the list. But certainly Khalil's on there. And he's going to have to be counted on. With this receiver group, he's going to have to be counted on. So, yes, he's always going to be important on there. Made man, not a made man yet.
I would bet you a lot of people in Kansas City have him as made man already, which is surprising to me, but I think that's the status of the wide receiver room shows why people think he's a made man.
This is true. Again, it's a golden opportunity being a receiver with the Kansas City Chiefs. Total golden opportunity.
Number 3.
Speaking of wide receiver with the Kansas City Chiefs, a former Chiefs wide receiver's agent was on the Pat McAfee show today. See it there? That was a really good transition by me. Drew Rosenhaus, the agent extraordinaire, he was on Pat McAfee's show, and he was asked, hey, what's the deal with Tyreek Hill as the season is inching closer and closer?
I don't expect Tyreek to sign before the season. He sent me video yesterday. This is good timing of him running hills, and he looked great. And I said to him, you look great. And he said to me, I still have some work to do. I'm not ready yet. I am not pressuring Tyreek, nor am I setting a timeline for him. I think that what I have said to Tyreek is take your time. It's not when you come back, it's how you come back. We want you to come back when you feel your best. There's no sense of urgency timing-wise. I think this is a future Hall of Famer who still has a lot of good football left in him. This was a devastating injury, but everyone's going to be so impressed when they see how well Tyreek is rehabbed. It's not hyperbole for me to predict that he will play this season. When, I'm not sure, but I do think when he does sign, he will be a coveted player. He'll be the kind of guy that will impact the playoff race and will certainly be successful once he signs.
Bink, you have been first team All-American. Get a pass catcher, get a pass catcher, get a pass catcher. It's all I hear from you. Pass catcher, pass catcher,
right.
pass catcher.
Pass catcher.
Would you be interested in the Chiefs with a Tyreek Hill reunion? Because his agent is saying there's a timeline for him to return for a postseason push. Would you be interested in one Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, Drew Rosenhaus, it's the agent that you want because he's going to sell goods. Now, at least they were honest in it, and he's not ready yet. At least that came out. And not like, well, he's ready to play. He's ready to sign with any team or whatever. But he said Tyreek Hill said himself he's not ready to go yet. Again, it's all about health. What can he do? Can he return? Can he be 85% of the Tyreek Hill that he was before? Could he be 90% of the Tyreek Hill he was before the injury? And that's going to be the biggest concern with NFL teams when they work you out and see what he's got. It's like why Max Crosby's not a Baltimore Raven now. They were scared about the medicals. And going off, will they be scared about the medicals of Tyreek Hill? Do they think he can do any damage? Now, I will say, I'm not against it only because I want pass catchers, man. And you know what? That would definitely be an upgrade to the position having him. So, with that early on, is that the end-all, be-all answer that you wanted Tyreek Hill with this wide receiver group? No. Wanted it through free agency, through the draft, through a trade, whatever you can. But if that's the option on the table, wouldn't say no, only because this team needs people at the wide receiver position to help them go forward. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the running game does. If that makes you forget about the wide receivers, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the way it's going to be. But we got to wait till the season starts to see what happens. But I guess that is the ace out there. That is the ace in the hole, that you still have Tyreek floating around there. I do think there's going to be other teams extremely interested, like the Texans, like the Chargers, maybe the Philadelphia Eagles, that are interested in a Tyreek Hill. And what can he do? Because, again, teams often think, hey, what can we do this year to get that ring and chase the ring? And, yeah, Tyreek Hill would be part of that equation. So, yeah, I think there's going to be competition. But he does love Kansas City, which he's comes back here all the time, which he brings up all the time, his love for the Kansas City Chiefs. So definitely they have the edge in that opportunity.
Do you think the Tyreek Hill buzz that at least you see on social media among fans is based on his ability, or do you think it's based on his tweeting about how much he loves Kansas City? Because if there were another wide receiver that just had a different name and had the same injury, same deal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I don't know if fans would be as enamored with the idea of him. Do you think the idea of him returning is based solely on his tweeting, his love of Kansas City, the fact he comes back into town and people are putting two and two together? Or do you think people still want him for his ability after his injury?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the fact that he likes Kansas City, clearly that goes a long way with Chiefs fans. But again, you always have to caution yourself, can this guy really help you, or is it more of a sentimental reason that you want him back, or can they actually help this team go forward? And you have to think about that. Can he actually help them? And yeah, I think he probably could at this point. It's not a direction I would have gone in the beginning, but you're sitting here now where they didn't bring any extra help. You drafted just one wide receiver in the draft. So these are things you have to consider. But I think that doesn't hurt when he wants to play here. The question is with the ability, what's he still got left in the tank? Because everybody wanted him in the beginning. They were ready to sign him before you even saw him run. Well, he's running hills now. He's doing all this. That's great. We saw him do the weights and all that. Again, workout videos are fine on Twitter, but don't put a lot of stock into them, what you see, because it's always the good stuff that you see, and that's it. But I'm for anybody that can help this offense, Rob. I'm for anybody that can help the offense move the ball forward. If there's not a problem, hey, if they go out and the running game's fine and Cyrus Allen is the deal and Xavier Worthy is healthy and Rashee Rice, no problems. He returns to the Rashee Rice we saw early on in his career. And hey, you don't need Tyreek Hill. Don't bring him in. Go with what you got, because clearly they've made the decision they're going to go Chad O'Shea at wide receiver coach and go with the receivers that they have currently. So don't kind of upset the apple cart bringing Tyreek Hill in. But again, if it's not going as planned, if it's not going well, and you need somebody who would rather have him maybe than a McCole Hardman or a Juju or a Hollywood Brown or somebody like this, yes, I would rather have Tyreek Hill. But in reading, I really, outside going out and wanting him at this point.
You just want pass catcher.
Just one pass catcher, man. Coming up next, take a look at the game tomorrow night, 6:30. What are your plans for it, or is it raining? 913-586-7965.
Your off-season home for everything Chiefs football.
Talking about the top story, the Chiefs, they have a new offensive coordinator.
96.5, The Fan.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run, because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal, too. Right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid...
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Plug-in Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end September 8th. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
When it comes to my policy, Farmers gives it to me straight, so there's no surprises.
It's your coverage. You should never be confused.
You hear that? An insurance provider with a conscience.
We're a choir, but yes, we have that too.
Straightforward coverage you can literally understand. That's what you get when
you have Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
At Jackson County Parks Plus Rec, there are countless ways to make your day.
Ooh, that's a great shot.
Take the Fred Arbanis Golf Course with 18 holes of championship-level golf and panoramic views of Longview Lake. It's no wonder GolfLink has named it the #1 public golf course in Missouri.
Way to sink it.
Nice birdie. The Fred Arbanis Golf Course at Jackson County Parks Plus Rec. Resort feel, affordable play. Learn more at makeyourdayhere.com.
Hey, it's Gold, and football season is here. And when we think about football in Kansas City, it's all about the tailgating. And you know what can make your tailgating even better in an ultimate tailgate? It's the fact that that tailgate involves a Ford. Football's better in a Ford. Home games, tailgates, Friday night lights. You have the F-150, the Bronco, Explorer, and Super Duty, all built for game day. And right now, big savings and a huge selection are waiting. So don't sit on the sidelines. Quit your wishing and get your next new Ford at Shawnee Mission Ford. You can shop anytime at ShawneeMissionFord.com. You also get a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty that will cover your new Ford for as long as you own it. That's a special warranty you can't get from other Ford dealerships because it far surpasses the standard manufacturer's warranty provided by Ford. So go to ShawneeMissionFord.com, shop for a new vehicle today, make football season better, and go see Kainoa at Shawnee Mission Ford, part of the Midwest Ford Dealers, a proud sponsor of the Chiefs.
Recently, our company softball team lost a big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later.
Sound familiar, Dale?
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, in Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Okay, near downtown, we've got 35 northbound. That's a broken down box truck. Right lane is blocked, and that's going to be at Penway. Let's head out east, 470 southbound at 40. That's a 2-car crash. I'm seeing some yellow. Folks are tapping their brakes. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey Kansas City, it's Bobby Witt Jr. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back, Jay Binkley, Rob Britton, The Drive. Well, Rob, it's gotten really dark out now. No more clear skies. I think we're about to get it, my friend.
I had big plans to get the lawn mowed tonight. I don't think that's happening anymore.
I don't think it's going to happen. It's definitely taken a turn for the worse, my friend. Definitely taken a turn for the worse.
I don't see any precipitation falling where we are, but it looks like nighttime outside.
Yeah. Text line 913-586-7965. Is it raining where you're at? It seems like a lot of the text line, it says Baser. It's a pouring in Baser. Well, so we'll see. So it does not look great outside at this point. I have no idea what the weather's supposed to be, but anyway.
I did see a chance of pop-up storms. I think we can safely say one has popped up.
I mean, the Royals game will probably be fine because it'll blow right through, whatever, and they'll still play the game. Still see some Noah Cameron tonight as the Royals go for 6 in a row. 7 the last 8.
Against Detroit.
Who's, 5 games under 500, but a game and a half out of the wild card.
If only they had their best pitcher, but instead they gave him away for pennies on the dollar.
Oh, just insanity. Just insanity. But it is going to, it's pretty dark out. It's gonna pour. So we may be here for a while, Rob.
Knowing our luck, it'll be at 6:01. Unload.
It's going to be here for, yeah, that's right. It looks like that's what's going to happen, my friend. It's supposed to only be till 5:45, the warning, so you got another 12 minutes for it. Like clockwork, man, every time I'm here. Like clockwork. Khalil Benson is interesting to me. If he starts this year, Rob, how will you view it? We view the Chiefs got a diamond in the rough. Chief scouting did it, or will you say, he came in here, did a great job at rookie minicamp and whatever? Because I remember Khalil Benson was a guy we talked about back in June and stuff because he started to show up on the radar and he started talking about him more and more.
So before I answer that question, I'm going to say this. I don't think Khalil Benson's the week 1 starter. I think Jalen Moore will be the guy until he does something to lose the job. I think Jalen Moore...
it might be right.
I think Jalen Moore is on the Kingsley Suamataia plan. You'll remember, Kingsley got the left tackle job out of week 1, and then week 2, he lost the left tackle job pretty much immediately. I think that's what's going to happen to Jalen Moore. Maybe not the week 2 part, but I think when the Chiefs line up against the Broncos, Jalen Moore is your right tackle, and they have big hopes, big anticipation for Khalil Benson down the road. I think they view him for this season as, like I keep making the basketball analogy, a 6th man. Hey, we need you to play right guard in a pinch. We think you're better than Mike Caliendo. Come in. Hey, something bad happened at left tackle. We're going to switch Moore out to left tackle. We need you to come in and be the right tackle. Hey, Kingsley Suamataia suffered an injury. We need you to jump in at left tackle. I think that's how they view him in 2026. So I think it would be, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, dumb luck if they worked into him being a long-term starter, but I don't think he's a starter in 2026. I think he's their 6th man off the bench that will get run. There's always injuries in football, but I don't think their plan is against the Broncos. He lines up against Nick Bonito.
What is your biggest concern with this team? What is something you'd like to see cleared up before the season started?
I don't think anything's going to get cleared up. We're kind of down. It is what it is right now. I think edge rusher. It's edge rusher and wide receiver. 6 in one hand, half in the other. I think they're eerily close. One points at the other because I don't know they have enough at the pass rush and edge rusher, and I don't know they have enough of wide receiver. So me and you see that position similar, but I don't know I'm sold on this edge rushing group yet because it's kind of an unknown commodity group.
Yeah, I mean, that's something. The one thing you hope is, remember when they won back-to-back, they finished second in the NFL in sacks those years, but they didn't exactly have that dominant pass rusher. Chris Jones was getting the job done, of course, but he didn't really have that outside guy. Well, Chris Jones did line up on the outside some, but I'm talking about the edge, the dominant edge rusher to do it. They did it by committee. Will Spags do it again by committee this year? I think he will. I think you'll see inside linebacker blitzes. I think you'll see a lot of safety blitzes.
I apologize for interrupting. I don't like the by committee system because it's the risk reward analysis. There's got to be a way for you to get pressure with 4. Like I've listened to Mitchell Schwartz on this show. I've listened to Mitch Holtis on this show. They talk about wanting to be more like the Seahawks. Well, the Seahawks weren't as blitz happy. It's a committee of middle linebacker does it. It was their defensive line was where they spread the wealth. It wasn't, Nick Emanwari had 7. Wow, what a great blitz package. It was our front 4 can beat your front 4. Come and get us. I think the Rams are trying to build a team where their front 4 can beat your front 4. So, I'm not anti the Spags blitz and they spread the wealth, but I want the wealth spread when it's one-on-one, my guy beat your guy, and that's not what I have seen so far.
I wanted to beat the Broncos in the division. Can you do enough to beat them? Because the Chiefs, for years, before they started this run, it was stopping the New England Patriots, stopping that dynasty, stopping Tom Brady, and the 2018 AFC title game. He goes overtime, he gets it. It's like they still were there to go bring in Spags. Spags was the Patriots killer. They bring him in. Forget about the Steelers. Forget about the Patriots. So they looked outside the division, said, we need to stop New England. We need to stop Pittsburgh. And all of a sudden, Buffalo kind of rose up, and they've been able to keep them at bay to some extent to this point. But the problem is you've got to constantly be better than everybody else because everybody comes kind of for you. When you win the division for 9 straight years, when you go to back-to-back Super Bowls and become the only team that has a chance to win 3 straight, which they weren't able to do, of course, but they still were the only team to have the opportunity to win 3 straight. You got the bullseye on your back. Everybody should be drafting to stop you. And you look at the drafts through the years with the Raiders and with the Chargers and with the Broncos, and you think, okay, well, the Broncos kind of get it. They went out 2 years ago. They get a cornerback in Johnny Barron. All right, you see they're on the right track. You got to stop Mahomes with corners or edge rushers, and they've certainly been able to get to the quarterbacks. They've led the NFL the last 2 years. But then, like last year, they both drafted running backs. The Raiders and the Chargers did, not the Broncos, in the first round. So that was their answer, which isn't the answer to stop Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, is drafting a running back at that point. But I still see it at this point. Are you high on the Chargers still, or are you kind of tapered that enthusiasm? You on Broncos and Chiefs for the
I think the Chargers.
AFC West?
I think the Chargers are in the conversation. I don't know. I'm high on the Chargers, but I think the Chargers are if you have the Chiefs in the conversation, I think you have to have the Chargers in the conversation.
You think?
I 100% think that. I think the Chargers are bringing back largely the same group from a team that went to the playoffs last year, and the Chiefs are bringing back largely the same group from a team that went 6-11 last year. Both teams are hoping on improved health to take a step forward. I still think the Broncos are probably the best team in the AFC West on paper, but I think if you say I don't think you can have the Chiefs as the number 2 horse in a 2-horse race and just discount the Chargers. I don't think I'd bet the Chargers, but I don't think you can just say, well, they're ho-hum yesterday's news.
Well, both those teams made extremely good maneuvers to help their football team. Jalen Waddle to the Broncos and Kenneth Walker to the Kansas City Chiefs is finding something that they needed, something that was missing that can help the team go forward, because clearly having a dynamic receiver definitely helps the Denver Broncos that were basically led by their defense last year, not that offense for the Chiefs to have that running game. I'm just excited to see it. I'm excited to see how the AFC shakes out. You know, a lot of talk have been on the Bengals and with their improved defense, what can they do this year? The Buffalo Bills, is their window closing? Can Josh Allen keep that window open for the Buffalo Bills, who didn't capitalize last year, even though with a great chance with Mahomes out of the playoffs doing it? People are high on Indy at this point. I'm still like, okay, do you really believe in Daniel Jones, carrying that team to the promised land despite having a Jonathan Taylor? And Alec Pierce, the guy they paid all the big money to, he's not 100% back yet, is he?
I don't believe he's practicing yet.
Yeah, so that was very expensive. He's on the PUP list right now, and of course, they're giving up 2 firsts for Sauce Gardner. So they've really banked on Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor. I do like the addition of Tyler Warren. I do like that draft pick there at tight end. I think they got something really good there. All right, Rob, we'll take a timeout, then we'll one last segment before the day as we have some rain that's probably going to be quickly hitting. I guess the text line said it's hitting Olathe at this point. I see lightning. Will there be more lightning to report when we come back next?
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison here. Let me tell you that erectile dysfunction affects more than your sex life. It can impact your confidence, your relationship, your quality of life. But you don't have to live this way. What they'll do at Heartland Men's Health is they have licensed medical providers who can create a specialized treatment plan designed for your unique needs. Because when it comes to this, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Using advanced medical therapies that go far beyond pills, Heartland Men's Health helps men achieve success rates at well over 90%. Many patients are even able to resume intimacy as soon as the day after their appointment. Your initial visit is $99. It includes a medical consultation, testosterone, and PSA testing. And if medically appropriate, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work during your visit, then the appointment is on the house. So visit any of the 3 area Kansas City locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. Pick up the phone and call Heartland Men's Health at 844-447-6600 or visit the website, heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Country music's biggest selling superstar, Luke Combs, presents My Kinda Saturday Night Tour 2027. Playing at Arrowhead Stadium, Saturday, May 15th. With special guests, Treaty Oak Revival, Avery Anna, Shenandoah, and Wyatt McCubbin. Luke Combs, live in concert in Kansas City. Get tickets now at lukecombs.com.
For a limited time at Go Car Wash, mention radio and get any wash for just $5. Yep, any wash. That's up to 80% off our best wash. Visit Go Car Wash today. It's your time to go shine.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty.
Wait, what?
Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER, forward and back.
Almost Andy Reid here. Summer heat can put your garage door to the test. Stay ahead of the game with a Renner Garage Door summer tune-up. Plus, get free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door. Forward and back.
RENNER.
Listen up, guys. Do you think you know who's going yard today? Well, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to prove your baseball expertise with Daily Dingers. Here's how it works. Make your pick on who's going to hit a home run, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a shot at extra winnings. Now, when your favorite star goes deep and knocks it out of the park, it'll feel that much sweeter. Daily Dingers is free to play, and you can lock in a pick every day of the baseball season, and that's why FanDuel is your home for home runs. Get ready to play your game. Make your first pick at FanDuel.com/local. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's going yard today. FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issue with non-withdrawable profit boost. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, I'm Tom Shane, third-generation owner at Shane Company. As a family jeweler for almost 100 years, we're known for doing right by our customers. Our legacy of integrity depends on it. We stand behind our engagement rings with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds, then negotiate for the best price. At Shane Company, we put you first because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This report is brought to you by Go Car Wash. It's your time to go shine.
What's up, KC? It's Drew Tranquin. The team I hated losing to most in college was undoubtedly USC.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by SWL Injury Law, the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do. Visit SWLinjurylaw.com.
Okay, near downtown, we've got 35 northbound. That's a broken down box truck. Right lane is blocked, and that's going to be at Penway. Let's head out east 470 southbound at 40. That's a two-car crash. I'm seeing some yellow. Folks are tapping their brakes. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
And welcome back to the Drive. Jay Binkley, Rob Britton. Kansas City Chiefs in action tomorrow at 6:30 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You can hear that game with pregame starting with Josh Briscoe, the Chiefs Radio Network, at 5 o'clock. You can hear the Royals at 5 o'clock over on 610 as the Royals and Tigers tomorrow night. It's Noah Cameron in the Kansas City Royals going tonight at Kauffman Stadium. And I guess there's rain around the city in different parts. Depends on where you are.
I say severe thunderstorm warning to include Lenexa and Belton and Peculiar is now in effect until 6:15. So
there you go. So 6:15. So you got a little push out now.
Yeah, that's. Lenexa. I know some people in the text line are saying individual places they were. Someone on the text line says raining and lightning now in Olathe. So we'll just see. But it does appear like that 6:01 is going to hit, and me and you are going to be walking out of the building and get wet. That's what I'm betting on.
That's usually what happens, so I'm fully expecting
Especially when I work with
that.
you. Why can't me and you have, on a Friday too, why can't me and you have a show where it's like 75 and sunshine on a sunny Friday? Me and you always do shows where it's like, hey, nightmare weather, stuck in the office, tough break getting home, get a call from the boss. Hey, I wouldn't go anywhere for a while. Those are the days me and you work, buddy.
I've been at the K before with some interesting situations. Only one time. And I used to go to a ton of games, you know that. But only one time did Vern get evacuated from the facility. One time, but it did happen. They said you need to leave.
I was at if we're going to talk from the Royals, do you remember the game? I believe it was in 15. It may have been 14. It may have been 14, where Alex Gordon hit the walk-off the game-tying home run against the then Cleveland Indians on Sunday Night Baseball, and then like 2 minutes later, a monsoon hit. It was just I was out of college with some friends, and it was Labor Day, and we were like so excited to go to the game. And we saw Gordon homer, and then we got stuck in the upper deck, and it was pouring down rain. They said, "Hey, no more baseball tonight. You guys got to go home." I was like, "Great." I'm gonna head to the car in the
in the monsoon,
nightmare rain.
In the monsoon. So yeah, well, you probably will get the lawn mowed. It might not even rain at your house. It looks like it's sporadic around the place. You might be able to get your lawn mowing in the night.
That's the goal. I got stuff to do tomorrow.
Well, home ownership, buddy.
I hate
get the lawn mowed. Is it a big lawn?
It wears me out. I'll tell you that. I have a push mower, so it's not like it's not big enough to justify a riding mower, but it's not small enough where I'm, walking. My watch tells me good job exercising every time I mow it.
Any lawn's fine for riding a lawnmower, Rob.
No,
you can drink beer during it.
You can drink beer after it, no matter what.
Well, true, but welcome to home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
No one warned me. They said that'd be great. You'll love it.
Well, last year people were mowing all the way through December. Around Thanksgiving or whatever, they use that as a nice day to go mow the lawn. December was happening. People are out there mowing their lawns and stuff like that. Let me put it this way. This weather at this point is a lot less complicated than college football world. With that injunction being passed today, the NCAA actually won a lawsuit. They haven't won many, that Colorado case. But the problem is it opened up Pandora's box because now Indiana, a few guys on the roster, ruled ineligible with the decision. Of course, the decision yesterday by that Louisiana judge where 32 guys, I think in all, are eligible to go back to college at that point. Now, they're grandfathered in with the TRO, so they can go back. And you'll see one tomorrow night in Pyburn for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that can go back to LSU. But it has opened up a whole new can of worms. I hate this stuff, Rob. I do. I can deal with name, image, and likeness and stuff for college football. But this stuff where the courts and judges decide who's coming back and who's not. And then when guys are in NFL training camps going back, no, you can't do that. Once you decide to go pro, that's your choice. Don't be, and they did it because they think it's unfair to the high school kids that are now in college and their jobs can be taken by someone coming off an NFL roster back. You think people really care too much about that? I don't think they do. But will it ruin your KU fandom at all with the guys coming back, or will you welcome them with open arms if they go to KU?
I don't want the players back, but I inevitably will cheer for the players. But just conceptually, I don't want, like Trey White would be a basketball 5-5. I don't know. I want Trey White back. I just want college sports to mirror college sports.
Speaking of KU, you can see some Jalen Daniels tomorrow night going against the Chiefs. Anyway, thanks for listening. Josh Vernier up next. Royals and Tigers. Noah Cameron. Talk to you guys later.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.